Chapter 520. By the time everyone had retreated to a safe place, their hands and feet were weak, and they collapsed to the ground. His gaze followed the direction of the dust-filled sky. There were finger-sized lightning bolts flickering in the dust like tiny snakes. They had only seen this kind of power when others were crossing the heavenly tribulation. It was the kind of power that could destroy heaven and earth, and no one could resist. When the dust dispersed, a big pit appeared in front of everyone. There were still lightning inside. When they got close, they could feel the terrible power inside. What is this? No one answered. Because no one could answer. Wu Chen stared at the big pit in front of him thoughtfully. He raised his head slightly and saw the iron sword in the air. He could vaguely see the figure above. The banter in Wu Chen's eyes had disappeared, and there was a bit of darkness. This little fox demon is really interesting. The explosion came from here. Wanshin sect. What are you idiots doing here? A group of people rushed over from a distance. These people were the people who chased Shisheng before. They were the Yuyang sect that Wu Chen mentioned. The Wanshin sect and the Yuyang sect were sworn enemies. But this time, no one from the Wanshin sect responded to the Yuyang sect. They all stared at the big pit in the distance with a strange expression. The people of the Yuyang sect looked at the big pit. There was nothing in the pit, only flashes of lightning from time to time. They felt a strong power just now and thought that some treasure was born. But it turned out to be such a big pit. Could it be that the people of the Wanshin sect took the thing away? Such a strong power, there must be some treasure. The people of the Yuyang sect thought it was very likely, so they began to look at the Wanshin sect unkindly. The two sides were originally enemies. It was said that the enemy knew the enemy best. The disciples of the Wanshin sect knew what the Yuyang sect was thinking. She made this pit. The disciples of the Wanshin sect pointed at the Shisheng above their heads. They didn't want to fight with the Yuyang sect for such an inexplicable reason. It's that fox demon. The people of the Yuyang sect looked at the pit, and their faces suddenly changed. This fox demon had killed many people of the Yuyang sect. No matter how powerful she is, it is impossible for her to create such a power that is comparable to the heavenly Tao. Stop fooling around. What did you get? The people of Yuyang sect were obviously more concerned about what the Wanshin sect had obtained. The strength of the two sects was about the same. If the Wanshin sect obtained any treasures, the Wanshin sect would be able to suppress the Yuyang sect. Wanshinzong. She has killed so many of your people, and you still don't believe her? This bunch of idiots. Cut the crap. Attack. F***CK. These fools. The two sides were engaged in a fierce battle, but no one cared about the Shisheng. She propped up her chin and looked at the people fighting below, thinking about the information of this world. In the background of this world, human cultivators and demon cultivators were like fire and water. There weren't as many demonic cultivators as human cultivators to begin with. Although their cultivation speed was faster than human cultivators, they couldn't compete with human cultivators in numbers. Once the human wave tactic was used, no matter how powerful they were, they could only kneel. Yui was a demon, and so were the female and male protagonists. So this story was basically written around demons. The human cultivators probably came out to make trouble for the male and female protagonists, and then they were killed. The original owner didn't live to the end, so she didn't know who the final villain was. So it wouldn't be easy to find Feng Xi. The one called Wu Chen just now didn't have a familiar aura on him. It shouldn't be Feng Xi. When the people of the Yuyang sect and the Wanshin sect finished fighting, it was already dark. The people of the Yuyang sect were defeated. Where's the little fox demon? Wu Chen looked around. The disciples of the Wanshin sect didn't pay attention to it. They were busy fighting just now. It was the fox demon above. Uncle, what did the fox demon throw? Someone remembered the reason why they were fighting with the Yuyang sect, and couldn't help but ask. Wu Chen glanced at the big pit in the distance. The lightning inside had disappeared. I don't know. He didn't see what she threw. The disciples of the Wanshin sect were surprised. Even their uncle didn't know. You go back to the sect first. Uncle, where are you going? To relax. The disciples of the Wanshin sect. Didn't you just come back from relaxing? Why are you relaxing again? Are you going back to the sect or not? Forget it. No one in the sect wants me to go back. Wu Chun and the others jumped and disappeared in the night. Wu Chun just followed his intuition. He didn't expect that he would really meet the little fox demon. She squatted by the stream. There was a person lying by the stream. He seemed to be unconscious. Half of his body was in the water. She slowly stretched out her hand and bent her fingers into a claw. She attacked the neck of the unconscious person. Wu Chun moved his fingers slightly, and a small stone shot out from his hand. The girl suddenly retracted her hand and looked at him. The stream was sparkling under the moonlight. It was reflected in her eyes like a crushed diamond. However, there was no fluctuation in her eyes. The sparkling light seemed to be fixed in her eyes, silent and unmoving. Wu Chun walked out from the dark. He stepped on the stream and landed a few steps away from her. He looked at the person she was going to kill. The side of his face was blocked by his hair. He couldn't see clearly. Why did you kill him? I want to kill him. Why do I need a reason? Shisheng snorted. As she spoke, she grabbed the iron sword that was standing beside her and stabbed it towards the man. Clang. The iron sword cut a long sword with blue light. Wu Chun used his strength to push it away. Little fox demon, it's not easy for you to kill someone in front of me. Shisheng was angry. Are you King blind? Is he human? What a nosy man. She was so angry. Just kill him. Shisheng turned the iron sword and slashed towards Wu Chun. Wu Chun didn't react to her words. In the next second, her sword slashed towards him. Without any warning, Wu Chun just dodged and didn't fight back. He didn't have the strength to fight back. Shisheng slashed twice. Suddenly he stopped and rushed back. The person who was lying by the stream just now had disappeared. Shisheng. F***ck. This idiot. Wu Chun followed her back to the stream in confusion. Little fox demon. What responded to Dustless was a disorderly slash. Wu Chun was a little overwhelmed. Why is this little fox demon so violent? Wu Chun decided to retreat first. He quickly took out a transmission talisman. A white light flashed and Shisheng's sword missed. F***ck. So what if you have a transmission talisman? The monk can run away, but the temple can't run away. Shisheng held the sword and looked at the stream. She almost killed the male protagonist just now. Yes, that person was the male protagonist. When she saw him, he was lying here. He looked like he was going to die. She only needed to use a little force and the male protagonist would be dead. However, this man appeared and the male protagonist ran away. I'm so angry. Wu Chun, right? Wan Shinzong, right? I'll wait. Chapter 521. Wan Shin Sect. Wu Chun appeared in a large hall. Many people in the hall looked at him uniformly. Senior brother sect leader, senior brothers. Wu Chun bowed with a good attitude. The sect leader, who was sitting high, had a goatee and a sharp face, looked a little mean. The sect leader said with a sullen face, Junior brother Wu Chun, you are getting more and more unruly. Wu Chun smoothed out his wrinkled clothes. Head senior brother, isn't junior brother being hunted down? Oh, junior brother Wu Chun can be chased? Don't you claim to be the first in Wan Shin sect? A slightly fat senior brother stood out and sneered. Wu Chun answered with ease, I'm the first in Wan Shin sect, but I'm not the first in the world. What trouble did you cause outside? The sect leader waved his hand to stop others from talking and asked Wu Chun coldly. How could it be? There is a little fox demon who likes my beauty and wants to cultivate with me. I don't agree and she wants to force me. Senior brother sect leader. You know that I always have a tender heart for women. How can I be willing to fight with a woman? Wu Chun opened his mouth and threw the blame on Shisheng. Not long after, Wu Chun knew that he would be punished for speaking nonsense. Demons are so bold now. Senior brother sect leader. If the news that Xianfeng's seal is broken is spread out, those demons will turn the sky upside down. Our main purpose now is to catch Xianfeng. For some reason, the topic suddenly became serious. But now we can't even find the trace of Xianfeng. Last time when the people of Yu Yang sect found him, they were about to catch him. Who knew that a monster would suddenly appear and save him at the critical moment? Now no one knows where Xianfeng is. Wu Chen saw that these people's attention was not on him, so he directly retreated to his seat and sat down. Wu Chen didn't listen to any of their discussion. He was thinking about the little fox demon who attacked without saying anything. So interesting. Uncle Wu Chen, Uncle Wu Chen. A disciple ran up from the foot of the mountain panting. Wu Chen was lying on the rocking chair under the vines and was awakened by the shout. He opened his eyes slightly and looked at the disciple. Why are you so loud? I can hear you. The disciple's face was filled with anxiety. Martial Uncle Wu Chen, the sect leader is asking you to go to the mountain gate. Wu Chen was puzzled. Why are you going to the mountain gate so early in the morning? A fox demon came looking for you and injured Uncle Master Wu Hen. Fox demon? Little fox demon? Wu Chen's eyes flashed. When the disciple looked again, there was only a slightly swaying rocking chair under the vines. The person on the rocking chair had disappeared. When Wu Chen arrived at the mountain gate was already occupied by the disciples of each peak. He squeezed in with great difficulty. The girl in the black skirt arrogantly stepped on a person. That person was none other than senior brother Wu Hen, who was at odds with him the most. Wu Chen walked to the group of sect masters and looked at Shisheng mockingly. Little fox demon, are you here for me? Yes, she's here for you. Shisheng smiled. However, no matter how one looked at it, that smile felt sinister. Shisheng gritted his teeth. I heard you say that I want to dual cultivate with you? Wu Chen looked at the sect leader, and the sect leader looked at Wu Hen who was being stepped on by Shisheng. Traceless. Was there something wrong with that? Why don't you save me first? I didn't say that. Wu Chen denied. Miss Yue, we can talk about it calmly. Let go of junior brother Wu Hen first. There's nothing to talk about. Give him to me and I'll return him to you. Shisheng pointed at Wu Chen with his chin. This, sect master, junior brother Wu Chen should solve his own problems. How can you implicate me? Wu Hen was so angry that his eyes turned red. It was all because of this troublemaker that he was humiliated in front of so many disciples. The sect leader looked at Wu Chen awkwardly and negotiated with Shisheng patiently. Miss Yue, how did junior brother Wu Chen offend you? This fox demon was much more difficult to deal with than the demons they had met before. Not only did she not follow the rules, but she was also quite powerful. Especially that sword. He offended me in many ways. How can I explain it clearly in one sentence? Give him to me or I'll kill him. I'll count to 3. 3, 2, 1. Shisheng pressed against Wu Chen's iron sword with a little force and the blade was inserted into Wu Hen's chest. Everyone thought that Shisheng was just threatening them verbally. But when they saw that she did not hesitate to insert the iron sword into Wu Hen's chest, they all changed their expressions. Sect master, sect master. Wu Hen felt a piercing chill. He did not care about his image and shouted at the sect master. Sect master, there are so many of us. How can we be afraid of her? Let's attack her together. Sect master, senior brother is right. Let's attack her together. The sect master did not answer these people. He raised his voice and said to Shisheng, Miss Yue, stop. Sect master, don't be embarrassed. I'll go and replace senior brother Wu Hen. Wu Chen smiled at the sect master and flashed to Shisheng. Little fox demon, can you let go of my senior brother now? Shisheng took out a porcelain bottle from his sleeve and handed it to Wu Chen. Eat it. Little fox demon. What is this? Wu Chen looked at the porcelain bottle curiously. Just eat it. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Shisheng stared at him fiercely. If it were not for this man, even if she could not kill the male protagonist, she could make him seriously disabled. Junior brother Wu Chen. Wu Chen took the porcelain bottle indifferently. He poured out the black elixir inside and swallowed it. The elixir melted in his mouth. It was a little cold and slid down his throat into his esophagus. There was no strange feeling. Shisheng moved his foot away from Wu Hen and pulled out the iron sword. He carried Wu Chen and stepped on the iron sword. He rushed to the distance and disappeared in front of everyone. Wu Hen stood up with his hand on his chest. She did not stab him deeply. Sect master, junior brother Wu Chen. It's his own fault. It has nothing to do with us. The sect master's face was not embarrassed anymore. There was only coldness. Everyone looked at each other. Wu Chen had caused a lot of trouble for the Wanshen sect in recent years. The sect master had not found a suitable opportunity to punish him. This incident happened to be an opportunity. Wu Chen found that the spiritual power in his body could not be used. It was not that it was gone, but there was no way to use it. He sat cross-legged on the iron sword and looked at the light and shadow passing by below. He was leisurely as if he was on vacation. Little fox demon, where are you taking me? Are we eloping? Shisheng glanced at him and did not answer. The little bitch system only gave him a hint about the hidden task. This hint happened to be Wu Chen. That was to say, this hint was only a prerequisite. The hidden task had not been triggered yet. Shisheng turned his eyes and suddenly approached Wu Chen. He stretched out his hand and grabbed Wu Chen's wrist. The majestic spiritual power rushed into Wu Chen's body. A stinging pain instantly spread all over Wu Chen's body. He looked slightly painful. Wu Chen could not use his spiritual power. He could only bear it. #hashtag asking for votes hashtag. Chapter 522. Not him. Shisheng let go of Wu Chen. Feng Xi wouldn't have such a strong resistance to her spiritual power. Then I'll just stab him a few times. Wu Chen had just calmed down when he saw the girl in front of him pull out a long sword from nowhere. She looked like she was about to stab him. Little fox demon, wait. Wu Chen hurriedly said. This little fox demon was too violent. However, Shisheng didn't give him a chance to speak and stabbed him with the long sword without hesitation. Wu Chen's body leaned back. His whole body flipped out of the iron sword and fell down. There was a forest below. Wu Chen fell directly into the lush canopy and smashed on the ground. He was dizzy from the fall. He climbed up from the ground dizzily, and suddenly met a pair of fist-sized dark golden pupils. A golden tiger stood a step away from him, and turned its head to size him up. His body stiffened and one leg was still kneeling on the ground. His posture was quite strange. Roar! The tiger suddenly roared and slightly arched its back. This was the signal to attack. Wu Chen's hand slowly touched the jade on his waist. Just as he touched the jade, the tiger's tail clamped and howled. It jumped towards the bushes and disappeared in front of Wu Chen in the blink of an eye. You can't even beat a tiger now. Are you sure you want to run? A bad voice came from behind. You want to stab me to death. If I don't run, should I wait for you to stab me? Wu Chen couldn't help but complain. I won't stab you to death. After all, you are still useful. Wu Chen. He used to think that he was quite annoying. Now he realized that he was actually not that annoying. But this was more interesting. Wu Chen turned his head and looked at the canopy behind him. What do you want? Shisheng jumped down from the tree and walked to Wu Chen. He squatted down without caring about his image. Help me kill a person, no, it's a demon. Who? Shisheng smiled slightly. Xianfeng. Xianfeng? Was the Xianfeng she was talking about the one he knew? It's him. If you help me kill him, we'll write off what happened before. How about it? Shisheng egged Wu Chen on. What happened between us before? Wu Chen was puzzled. Didn't they just have a fight? After that, he stopped him from killing people. It wasn't a deep grudge. She actually chased him all the way to the Wanshen sect. From the looks of it, did she like him? Little fox demon, have you fallen for me? Wu Chen cracked his mouth to reveal a playful smile. If you really like me, I can also reluctantly accept you. Shisheng slapped him. Stop dreaming. You have two choices. Either you die or help me kill Xianfeng. Hey, don't touch him. If you want to kill him, then kill him. He's a demon anyway. Killing demons is perfectly justified. After saying that, Wu Chen probably felt that it was inappropriate and added, of course I definitely can't bear to part with such a pretty demon like the little fox demon. Shisheng forced a smile and said, they were right to give up on you. Wu Chen knew that Shisheng was talking about the people of the Wanshen sect. He stroked his hair carelessly and said, gold will always shine. They will regret it one day. Shisheng leisurely added, however, gold usually ends up being melted. Little fox demon, you're so unfriendly to me. Be careful that I don't help you kill Xianfeng. Wu Chen raised his eyebrows and his eyes were full of shrewdness. Your strength is not bad. If you really want to kill Xianfeng, it won't be too difficult. But you want me to help you kill him. What does this mean? She had that thing that was comparable to the power of heaven Dao. How could she be afraid of Xianfeng? Shisheng narrowed his eyes and waited for Wu Chen's next words. Wu Chen dragged his words. This means, either you can't kill Xianfeng, or you don't dare to kill him. Little fox demon, do you think my analysis is right? So if you want me to help you kill Xianfeng, you have to be nice to me. Be nice to you? Yes. F*CKU. How dare you threaten I? Where did you get your confidence from? Is this considered being nice to you? After being beaten up, Wu Chen didn't dare to casually threaten Shisheng anymore. This little fox demon's brain circuit was completely different from ordinary people. Hey little fox demon, can't you give me the antidote? How can I help you kill Xianfeng like this? Wu Chen walked while panting. He was a weakling without spiritual power. The girl walking in front paused for a moment, then turned around and smiled faintly. I will give it to you when the time comes. Wu Chen did not give up. What if we suddenly encounter it? It will be too late for you to give it to me then, right? There is still time. Wu Chen was speechless. Wu Chen wanted the antidote but failed. The two walked out of the forest and entered the official road. Little fox demon, I'm so thirsty. Let's take a break. Wu Chen pointed to the tea shed in front. He didn't care whether Shisheng followed him or not. He went straight there. Shisheng followed him slowly. Food was also sold in the tea shed. Wu Chen had been eating wild fruits for the past few days, so he was very hungry. Little fox demon. Shisheng stared at him coldly. Wu Chen immediately changed his words. Shisheng looked away and continued to eat the porridge in front of him. Wu Chen glanced at the bowl of porridge. A demon also ate porridge? It was the first time he saw it. The demons he had seen either ate humans or raw meat. He had never seen such a down-to-earth demon who ate porridge. Wu Chen was curious. Why did you provoke the people of Yuyang sect? Collective rabies. Wu Chen was speechless. What did she mean by collective rabies? What did this have to do with his question? What do you want to do? A girl's voice came from the side. Because it was close to the city, there were more people coming and going on the official road. This voice immediately attracted everyone's attention. A few big men were grabbing a girl, their hands above and below her. Their obscenities were even more unpleasant. The girl was the daughter of the shop owner. The shop owner stood aside and tried to pull them away, but it was obviously useless. Shisheng glanced over indifferently before lowering her head to continue eating her porridge. After following her for a period of time, Wu Chen realized that no matter what this little fox demon did, she always had a well-thought-out and arrogant look. She was not an ordinary person's strategist but a kind of looking down on the heroes. I was not afraid of anyone and had an attitude of fighting. However, she had never looked down on anyone. As long as there was no conflict with her, she would smile back when others gave her a smile. If others gave her kindness, she might give them 10 times more kindness when she was in a good mood. But sometimes, like now, he would be indifferent, watching coldly from the sidelines. She had no righteousness in her heart. She had her own set of rules. Unfortunately, he did not know what her rules were. What a strange little fox demon. Wu Chen became more and more interested in Shisheng. Wu Chen. I want her. Little fairy. Is this something you can have just because you want it? Wu Chen, why not? Little fairy. Humans and demons can't love each other. Wu Chen. Chapter 523. Wu Chen did not intend to meddle in other people's business, but when the girl was struggling with the group of people, she somehow moved to Shisheng's side. Several big men saw that Shisheng was much better looking than the girl, and they suddenly had evil intentions. Although Wu Chen had no spiritual power, he could still deal with several ordinary people. After the few people ran away, the girl thanked Wu Chen while sobbing. Then she wanted to give herself to him. Shisheng looked at him with a sneer, took out some money and put it on the table. Then he got up and left. Dustless received 10,000 critical hits. It's just a small matter. You don't have to thank me. Goodbye. Wu Chen pushed the girl away and got up to catch up with Shisheng. The two walked towards the city wall, and the atmosphere was a little silent. When they were about to enter the city, Wu Chen could not help but ask, "You know there will be trouble?" She seemed to know who would get into trouble and who would not get into trouble. Thinking about it carefully, along the way, when she fought, no one pestered her. Shisheng looked over the passing crowd with an indifferent expression. "You will know when you see more." Wu Chen frowned. He had seen a lot of people, but it was difficult to recognize who had bad intentions at a glance. After all, people's hearts were the most fickle. He could not see through people's hearts. She was a demon. How could she know people so well? Wu Chen did not know that Shisheng looked at people with malice. He first used malice to speculate others, but when he found that others were not what he thought, he naturally saw more clearly than him. When the girl was being molested, she kept observing you. When she saw that you did not respond, she led those people to me. Shisheng patted Wu Chen's shoulder with a noble and cold face. "Young man, don't be narcissistic. Read more books." Wu Chen. Shisheng did not know where Xianfeng was. He could only wait for him according to the plot in the original owner's memory. This city was the place where Xianfeng and the female protagonist joined forces with the people of Yuyang sect to force the original owner to a dead end. "Xiaoyi." Wu Chen pushed the door and entered. Shisheng opened his slightly closed eyes and met Wu Chen's slightly dignified eyes. He walked over and asked, "Have you been out recently?" Ever since they entered the city, she had been holed up in this inn doing nothing. If she wasn't sleeping, then she was cultivating. Shisheng sat up and asked calmly, "What happened?" Wu Chen sized up Shisheng. Someone in the city had his heart dug out. Heart gouging had always been the specialty of fox demons. "Do you suspect that I did it?" Shisheng glanced at Wu Chen calmly. "She didn't do it, but someone know a fox did it." In other words, no matter what, the plot had to continue. Shisheng seemed to have heard a congratulatory message saying, "Congratulations! You've received the plot lord's malice buff. The duration is unknown. Its function is unknown. The consequences were unknown. Simply, I'm just asking." Wu Chen looked away. Shisheng closed his eyes again and lay back down. "Your life is in my hands, yet you still have the time to care about others. You're quite magnanimous." Wu Chen was stunned for a moment. Her attitude was too arrogant. On second thought, it shouldn't be her. This little fox demon had always killed people openly. She wouldn't do this kind of thing secretly. Someone in the city had his heart dug out. It was said that the fox demon did it. The mayor sent someone to ask the people of Yuyang sect to catch the fox demon. When the people of Yuyang sect came, the heart gouging incident stopped. There was no more news of death. However, after the people of Yuyang sect left, several people died one after another. At night, all the doors of the houses in the city were closed. They were afraid that the fox demon would go to their houses. Wu Chen went out early and came back late for several days. Shisheng leaned against the window and looked at the silent distance. There was a faint smile at the corner of his mouth. "Little fox demon, do you know who it is?" "Yes." "Who is it?" Wu Chen's eyes lit up. "Why should I tell you?" Shisheng raised his eyebrows. Wu Chen was speechless. "We've lived together for so long. Don't you love your companions?" "I didn't know that you like to meddle in other people's business." Wu Chen shrugged helplessly. "Cultivation requires a certain amount of merit so that when you ascend in the future, you won't be struck by lightning." Shisheng's mouth twitched. "Who told you that?" No wonder this guy was always unwilling but had to take action. How could the heavenly Tao allow him to find a bug in the heavenly Tao? "My master. If I find the real culprit, it'll be a great merit. Good luck." Shisheng turned and went back to his room. Wu Chen followed behind her. "Little fox demon, help me. You want me to help you catch my kind." Shisheng pointed at himself. "Do I look like a retard?" Wu Chen was speechless. What he said made sense. He was speechless. She was also a fox demon. Shisheng didn't help, so Wu Chen could only do it by himself. His spiritual power was still there. He could feel where there was a demon aura. However, After wandering around the city for so many days, he didn't notice any demon aura anywhere. He couldn't even detect Shisheng's aura. A person still died in the city every few days. Even if the people of Yuyang sect were there, the fox demon still committed the crime without fear. Squeak. The window cracked and a black shadow shot in from the window. The moment it landed, it turned into a man. He looked around the room for a moment and walked toward the bed. When he was about to reach the bed, an iron sword suddenly appeared on his neck. I thought it was my illusion before. I didn't expect there to be a similar kind. The man's voice was strange, which made people feel creepy. Why don't you go and dig out your heart? Shisheng sneered. You want to dig out my heart to nourish your body? Can you afford it? If the man's voice was creepy, then Shisheng's voice was gloomy and undisguised malice. The man had a bad premonition. After a few seconds of silence, he spoke calmly. Anyway, we're the same kind. It's just a greeting. Why are you so nervous? How can you tell that I'm nervous? If you're not nervous, why do you threaten me with a sword? As a return gift for breaking into my room without invitation. Xiao Yi, who are you talking to? Wu Chen's voice suddenly sounded outside the door. There was a strange silence in the room. Wu Chen didn't hear a response for a long time, so he knocked twice. Xiao Yi, I'm coming in. Squeak. When the door was pushed open, the man's figure flashed and turned into his original form. He quickly rushed out of the window and disappeared into the night. Wu Chen only felt a black shadow flashing in front of his eyes. A slight cool breeze brushed past his cheeks with a slight demon aura. Wu Chen was slightly shocked. He took a closer look. Shisheng was standing in the room, holding her iron sword and standing with her back to him. Xiao Yi, just now? Why was there a demon aura? Was it the heart-digging murderer? The heart-digging murderer you're looking for. Shisheng put the iron sword back into the space, said faintly and walked to the bed. Go out and close the door. Thank you. Wu Chen was speechless. The heart-digging murderer is here, and you're still so calm. Chapter 524. The next day, when Shisheng went out, he heard some people talking about another person who died last night. The murderer hasn't been caught yet. I'm so scared when I sleep. Who knows when the murderer will come? What can we do? Even the people of Yuyang sect can't catch the murderer. My husband is so paranoid when he sleeps. I'm so worried all day long. If this goes on, I plan to go out and hide for a while before coming back. A crisp voice interrupted. Brother, what are you talking about? Shisheng turned his head slightly and saw a petite girl holding a man. She curiously asked the people who were talking just now. The other party saw that she was cute and was willing to tell her. Little girl, you don't seem to be from here. You'd better leave quickly. Someone advised the girl. The little girl smiled. Thank you for your reminder, but we are here to find someone. We may not be able to leave for a while. Sigh. The little girl thanked those people and dragged the man to the side. Xianfeng, did you hear that? They said there is a fox demon here. Yu Shaoqi lowered her voice. It's none of my business. Xianfeng's face was cold. Don't you think it's cruel? Yu Shaoqi was angry. And we have a rule that we can't hurt humans. Humans and demons can't coexist. This has been the rule since ancient times. Xianfeng imprisoned Yu Shaoqi in his arms. If you meddle in other people's business again, I won't do it again. Yu Shaoqi was dissatisfied. You have to rely on me. Xianfeng's face suddenly turned black. What did you say? The surrounding temperature seemed to have dropped by several degrees. No. Yu Shaoqi shook her head and waved her hand. You're so powerful. Xianfeng's face became better. Xiao. Wu Chen appeared out of nowhere and patted Shisheng's shoulder, blocking the male and female leads in front. What are you doing here? Shisheng tilted his head and his vision suddenly widened. However, the male and female leads had disappeared. Shisheng glared at Wu Chen. The person you want to kill is here. Xianfeng? He almost forgot that he was threatened by this woman to kill people. Are you afraid? Wu Chen, this man, when she first met him, she felt that he was very pretentious. In fact, he was just a coward, bullying the weak and fearing the strong, narcissistic and pretentious. Wu Chen was like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. His whole body stood up. Why would I be afraid of him? Where is he? It is my duty to rid the world of evil. Shisheng pointed at the crowd in front of them. They went that way. Wu Chen immediately walked over there. After a few steps he turned back. What's Xianfeng's current strength? Shisheng rolled his eyes. How would I know? I've never fought him before. The original host had only been beaten by the male lead, but she had never fought back. So after the male lead seal was broken, no one knew how strong he was. Why do you have to kill him? Shisheng pondered for a moment. Anyway, there's a grudge between us. I won't be able to live under the same sky as him. As long as he's not dead, I won't feel comfortable. Wu Chen. How big of a grudge was this? The hatred of killing one's father and stealing one's wife? Wu Chen couldn't understand Shisheng's train of thought, but he liked this kind of Shisheng more and more. He was different from the coquettish bitches outside. Shisheng didn't catch up with the male and female lead, but they would definitely not leave before the heart-digging incident was over. Shisheng always believed that the plot would send the male and female lead to her, so she didn't panic at all. In the evening, the male and female lead really appeared in the inn where she lived. She saw them when she came out to ask the waiter to bring her water. They were eating in the hall. Yu Shaoqi kept chattering. Xianfeng looked impatient, but he didn't interrupt Yu Shaoqi. Probably because Shisheng's gaze was too straightforward, Xianfeng noticed it and looked up. Their gazes collided in the air. When Xianfeng met the girl's eyes, he suddenly had a sense of crisis, as if he was in a void and there was nothing to rely on. There was something wrong with this woman. This was Xianfeng's first thought. In the past, when this woman saw him, she was obsessed and couldn't wait to pounce on him. But this time she was so calm. Her aura was also wrong. That was an extremely ostentatious feeling of nobility. She stood there casually, as if there were thousands of miles of mountains and rivers under her feet. In the past, he was just annoyed that this woman was pestering him. But now, he was a little bit afraid of this woman. How could a person change so much in such a short time? Xianfeng, what are you looking at? Yu Shaoqi saw Xianfeng staring in one direction for a long time, so she curiously followed his gaze. She only saw a cyan figure with a jade pendant swaying on his waist, and a bamboo leaf-shaped tassel hanging below it. Why are the people of Wanshun sect here? Yu Shaoqi suddenly became nervous. Xianfeng, let's go somewhere else. These people wanted to catch Xianfeng. Although she didn't understand why, she and Xianfeng were in the same boat now, so he couldn't be caught by them. No need. Xianfeng retracted his gaze. Why? The people of Wanshun sect are here. What if they find us? Yu Shaoqi was more anxious. Let's eat. Xianfeng rubbed Yu Shaoqi's head and said in an indisputable tone. Yu Shaoqi still wanted to say something, but Xianfeng's face instantly became gloomy, and he looked at her coldly. She bit her lip, swallowed back her words, and bowed her head to eat. This man changed his face as fast as flipping a book. Xianfeng and Yu Shaoqi stayed in the inn. They went out early and came back late. No one knew what they were doing. Shisheng didn't go out of the room, so he didn't meet the two of them. Wu Chen was happy to see that Shisheng didn't let him kill Xianfeng immediately. He was a weakling now. If he really fought with this monster who gave the sect a headache, how could he win? On the third day after Xianfeng and Yu Shaoqi stayed in the inn, someone died in the inn. It was the waiter of the inn. His heart was dug out in the backyard of the inn. His empty chest was badly mutilated. His expression was extremely horrified. His pupils were wide open and full of blood vessels. It could be seen that he was very painful when he died. But last night, no one in the inn heard anything. Just like that, the waiter died silently in the backyard of the inn. The people who died before were all from big families, but now ordinary people started to die. Those who were timid didn't dare to stay any longer and asked to check out. Of course, there were also those who were brave enough to stay in the inn. Asterisk 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 little fairy. Look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm so cute. Come and vote for me, babies. Cherub. Aren't we cute? Little fairy, cute cute. Vote for me. Cherub. Are you cute or are we cute? Little fairy. You are cute, but not as cute as me. Chapter 525. The city lord sent someone to take the corpse away along with the people of Yuyang sect. That was great. Thunder stirred up the fire. Yu Shaoqi was recognized by the people of Yuyang sect. She had been with Xianfeng recently, so the people of Yuyang sect naturally knew her. Yu Shaoqi had long been assigned to Xianfeng's sect, so it was no surprise that the people of Yuyang sect attacked Yu Shaoqi. Since they were going to fight with Yu Shaoqi, the male protagonist naturally had to appear. The two sides fought in the inn, and there were also a group of onlookers. Did the people of Yuyang sect just call her a demon girl? Is that little girl a monster? Is she the fox demon who dug out the heart? No way. The more beautiful the thing is, the more poisonous it is. The crowd was talking about it. Wu Chen and Shisheng stood upstairs. Xiao Yi, do you want to fight? Fight who? Wu Chen. Shouldn't I ask you this question? And your choice of words is a bit wrong. Let them fight. When they are almost done, we will go and fight. Shisheng analyzed for Wu Chen. Wu Chen. I didn't expect you to be such a little fox demon. But I like it. Because of the heart-digging incident, there were actually a lot of people of Yuyang sect here. As soon as they fought with Xianfeng, someone went out to call for help. When the people of Yuyang sect could not hold on anymore, the help arrived. Yu Shaoqi's fighting power was average. If it were not for Xianfeng's protection, she would have been caught. Of course, she was still caught in the end. Xianfeng, stop, or I will kill her. Xianfeng was strangling a disciple of Yuyang sect. When he turned back, he saw Yu Shaoqi's neck being held by a sword. Xianfeng, go away, don't worry about me. Yu Shaoqi shouted at Xianfeng. Shut up. The person who threatened Yu Shaoqi slapped her face. Yu Shaoqi's head was tilted and her neck rubbed against the blade, leaving a bloody mark. Xianfeng, do you want to see her die? Xianfeng stared gloomily at the disciple who threatened Yu Shaoqi, and the veins on the back of his hand were exposed. A few seconds later, Xianfeng threw the disciple who was strangled by him. Let her go. I can let her go, but you have to destroy your cultivation. Xianfeng's body seemed to be emitting cold air, and the surrounding people began to tremble. But when he thought that Yu Shaoqi was in their hands, he felt confident again. Let her go. Xianfeng's voice was as cold as ice. The person who threatened Yu Shaoqi immediately pressed the sword to her neck. Xianfeng, are you really not afraid of her death? Xianfeng, go quickly. Yu Shaoqi shook her head. Hey, why don't you kill her? The sudden voice stunned everyone, and they all looked towards the second floor at the same time. The girl in the black skirt leaned on the railing with a smile on her face, but it was full of malice. Don't you know that villains die because they talk too much? Shisheng turned a blind eye to the gazes directed at him. Kill them as soon as you catch them. Wu Chen. Do you know that you're a girl? However, he really liked it. This little fox demoness looked adorable and was exactly the type that he liked. When Yu Shaoqi saw Shisheng, she was obviously stunned, and then she couldn't believe it. She probably couldn't understand. After all, they were of the same kind and siblings shouldn't kill each other. How could she let these people kill her? Yui. The people of Yuyang sect recognized Shisheng and suddenly shouted, they are in cahoots. Shisheng snorted. You can eat whatever you want, but you can't say whatever you want. When did I become in cahoots with them? Would I collude with the male and female protagonists? How could I, a noble and cold person, be in cahoots with them? I'm always on the opposite side of them. If you're not in cahoots with them, why did you risk your life to save Xianfeng? A disciple questioned. If we're not in cahoots, why would I risk my life to save him? Do you think we're fools? Shisheng. I've forgotten about it. Xianfeng frowned, and his slightly inquisitive gaze fell on Shisheng. Wu Chen's gaze was also a little strange. It turned out that she was the monster that saved Xianfeng. No wonder the people of Yuyang sect chased after her. But why did she save Xianfeng? And now she wants to kill him? I saved the wrong person. Shisheng looked calm. No, I saved the wrong monster. Everyone. Your excuse is so far-fetched. Are you going to fight or not? Why are you looking at her? She's very good-looking, but the male and female protagonists can't die. Go. The people of Yuyang sect waved their hands. Some of them rushed upstairs, and some rushed to Xianfeng. Shisheng held the railing with his palms and jumped down from the second floor. The cold light flashed, and the people in the way fell to the ground directly before they could even scream. Everyone was a little scared when they saw Shisheng's sword. What kind of sword is this? It doesn't take much effort to cut people. Shisheng rushed to Xianfeng. Seeing Shisheng's aggressive look, the people of Yuyang sect retreated, leaving the battlefield to the two monsters. The two monsters killed each other, and they only needed to reap the benefits. Why not? So the disciples of Yuyang sect quickly retreated to a safe area. Are you the one who saved me? Xianfeng looked at Shisheng. Shisheng smiled slightly. I'm young and naive, please forgive me. Xianfeng. How is saving me young and naive? This fox monster gave him a strange feeling. Do you want to attract my attention in another way? Shisheng looked at Xianfeng. Don't test me. I just want to kill you now. It's that simple. Do you want to stand and let me cut you, or lie down and let me cut you? You want to kill me? Xianfeng looked disdainful, but his heart was full of doubts. She didn't like him anymore, and she wanted to kill him. Shisheng swung his iron sword and rushed over. Fighting with the male protagonist, the resistance was not ordinary. Originally, she only needed to use 10% of her strength, but now she needed to use 50% of her strength. What a scam! Even if she didn't want to kill the male protagonist, she still needed to use 30% of her strength. The darling of the heavenly Tao was awesome. Bang! Xianfeng's body suddenly flew out and hit the table. The table couldn't bear the inertia of his body and broke into pieces. Swish! The sharp blade was pointed at his eyebrows. From the mirror-like iron sword, one could see his embarrassed look at this time. Xianfeng looked at the girl in front of him in disbelief. I asked you to stand and let me cut you, but you had to lie down and let me cut you. There seemed to be a smile on her face, but it also seemed that there was nothing. Wu Chen, who had been watching the show, heard the call and jumped down from the second floor and walked to Shisheng. Xiao Yi, kill him. Wu Chen's eyes flashed with a trace of doubt. She could kill Xianfeng with a little strength. Why go through the trouble again? She really couldn't kill Xianfeng? Yu Yi, how can you kill your own kind? Yu Shaoqi struggled violently. Shisheng ignored Yu Shaoqi and said to Wu Chen, do it. Wu Chen looked at Shisheng and then at Xianfeng. He summoned his sword and pierced Xianfeng's chest under everyone's gaze. A series of movements seemed to be slowed down. No. Chapter 526. There was a bloodthirsty smile on Xianfeng's face, and there was no fear on his face. Shisheng frowned and had a bad feeling in his heart. Sure enough, when the long sword entered Xianfeng's body, his body turned into ashes in an instant. F***ck. No wonder the male lead was so weak. It turned out that it was not his original body at all. What a waste of time. It's not his original body. Wu Chen withdrew his sword. He is not so easy to kill. How could a demon that could cause headaches to the sect be so useless? Shisheng turned to look at Yu Shaoqi. Yu Shaoqi probably thought that Xianfeng was dead, and her face was full of sadness. Shisheng's eyes darted around, but before she could do anything, an unforeseen event occurred. A burst of white smoke floated out of nowhere, and the whole inn was instantly submerged in white smoke. There was only a vast expanse of whiteness in front of them, and nothing could be seen. There was a commotion on the opposite side, and there were sounds of fighting. The white smoke dissipated, and the figures slowly appeared. The person who had just threatened Yu Shaoqi was lying on the ground at this time. Yu Shaoqi was nowhere to be found. Where is she? Someone attacked me just now. Shisheng sighed. Sure enough, it was necessary to consume the luck of the male and female leads first, and then kill them. It's them, it must be them. The people of Yuyang sect suddenly pointed at Shisheng and Wu Chen. Wu Chen, you are from Wanshan sect. Why are you with the fox demon? It's none of your business who I want to be with. Wu Chen's eyes were full of ridicule. Your Yuyang sect can't even control a demon. What's the use? Being called useless, the people of Yuyang sect immediately exploded. Wu Chen, you actually colluded with a demon. This time, Even Wan Shen sect can't protect you. A scream was heard. Yui, how dare you sneak attack us? Shisheng stepped on the person who had just shouted, sneak attack? Didn't I do it in front of you? If this is a sneak attack, it can only prove that you are blind. Are you blaming me? You are stupid, but you blame others for being too smart. I won't take the blame for this, thank you. Subdue the demon, kill them. Since the incident at the inn, the name Yui became popular overnight. He had killed dozens of people from the Yuyang sect by himself, and became the #1 target of the Yuyang sect. Many people guessed that she had something to do with the heart-digging incident in the city. However, at that time, there were people who saw her leave the city with their own eyes, but there were still people who died in the city. No one caught the murderer, who dug out the heart. There were also people who suspected that the Shisheng had not left the city. The entire city was under martial law and searched from house to house. Naturally, they found nothing. In a dilapidated mansion somewhere in the city, Yu Shaoqi was lying on the clean bed. She couldn't move anything except for her eyes. She didn't know how she got here. At that time, everything in front of her was white. She heard someone screaming, and then she fainted. When he opened his eyes again, he was already here. Yu Shaoqi tried to move, but her body was too stiff. She tried several times but couldn't even lift her finger. She didn't know how long she had been lying on the bed, but the light in the room was getting dimmer and dimmer. Creak. The sound of footsteps came closer and closer. Someone came in. The tall shadow slowly approached the bed, and Yu Shaoqi felt a sense of oppression. She turned her eyes and saw the person standing by the bed. It was a man. Wearing a mask, only a pair of gloomy eyes could be seen. Who are you? Yu Shaoqi shivered. Why did you catch me? Catch you? The masked man's voice was very low and hoarse. I saved you. Yu Shaoqi remembered what happened before. If she was not taken away by the masked man, would she also die? Yu Shaoqi swallowed a few mouthfuls of saliva and her throat tightened. Then why can't I move? The masked man leaned over and his rough fingertips slid across Yu Shaoqi's smooth face. His gaze was complicated. He rubbed Yu Shaoqi's face without saying a word. After a while he let go of her. Go to sleep. Yu Shaoqi was not sleepy at all, but she didn't know why she felt sleepy after hearing his words. Xiaoyi, where are we going now? Wu Chen stirred the fire in front of him. Let's go back to our own homes. Wu Chen threw away the branch in his hand, walked to Shisheng and sat down. I have been abandoned by the sect and have nowhere to go. Shouldn't Xiaoyi be responsible for me? Xiaoyi is wrong to marry me. Why don't you marry me? Shisheng looked at him. Marrying you is also wrong to me. So in order not to wrong yourself, get lost or else. Shisheng's expression was a little gloomy as he spoke. Wu Chen shrunk his neck and rolled his eyes. What if he and Xiaoyi had sex? Then wouldn't Xiaoyi be responsible for him? That's a good idea. Let's do it. Your jade is flashing. Shisheng suddenly interrupted Wu Chen's imagination. Wu Chen lowered his head to look. The jade pendant was like a firefly, flashing one after another. He pinched the jade and suddenly remembered that he could not use his spiritual power. Wu Chen anxiously said to Shisheng, Xiaoyi, hurry up, I need to use my spiritual power. Shisheng, I have something to do. I won't run away. I love you so much. How can I bear to leave you? Wu Chen raised his hand and swore. The jade in his hand flashed more frequently. Shisheng stared at the jade pendant for a while before slowly tossing the antidote over. Wu Chen hurriedly swallowed the antidote. It took a while for the antidote to take effect. He stared at the jade without blinking. It was as if the jade was his wife. When the antidote took effect, the spiritual power in his body started to circulate. Wu Chen immediately injected his spiritual power into the jade. Master. Wu Chen spoke. Shisheng was shocked. This guy actually had a master? No, he seemed to have mentioned it before. Where are you? A cold male voice sounded from the jade. Wu Chen's expression was complicated. Master, where are you? I'll come to find you. There was silence on the other side. There was a whistling sound of the wind. After a long time there was a voice, Lan Shan. Master, don't go anywhere. I'll be there right away. Wu Chen put down the jade and turned to look at Shi Sheng, who had a strange expression. Xiao Yi, I'm going to pick up my master. I'll go with you. Wu Chen blinked. Xiao Yi was so easy to talk to. Thinking about his master, Wu Chen suppressed his other thoughts. It was more important to pick up his master first. Shi Sheng revealed an unfathomable smile. Damn it, I've waited for so long. Finally, there was a clue. If there was no clue, she would think that the system was deceiving her. Lan Shan was a little far from them. However, with the iron sword, it was not a problem no matter how far it was. Shi Sheng. Why hasn't my man appeared yet? Little fairy. Isn't he going to appear soon? Feng Xi. What kind of attribute do I have this time? Little fairy, guess. Feng Xi. Wife, where's the sword? Shi Sheng. Why should I use a sword to deal with her? It'll dirty my sword. Feng Xi. Wife, you're right. Little fairy. I don't want to eat dog food. Goodbye. Chapter 527. After pasting the talisman, Shi Sheng returned to his side and fixed the night-luminescent pearl on the stone next to him. Shi Sheng helped him up and sat against the stone next to him. What's your name? Qing Han. He paused and withdrew his hand. Men and women shouldn't touch each other. You've already kissed me. Shi Sheng sneered. Why? Don't you want to take responsibility? Qing Han was speechless. He pursed his lips, which seemed to be stained with her breath. It was a very strange feeling. He didn't hate it. That was an accident. An accident can't change the fact that it happened. Shi Sheng bent over and approached him, looking straight into his eyes. Qing Han avoided his gaze and turned his head to the other side. You are the person my disciple likes. This matter. You're a hooligan. Qing Han's expression changed slightly, and he explained solemnly, I didn't. She was the person Wu Chen liked. How could he, as a master, snatch her away from his disciple? What happened just now was an accident. Shi Sheng looked at Qing Han calmly for a while. If I do it with him here, he glanced around. Forget it. He would be traumatized here. The space suddenly became quiet. Shi Sheng walked to the side and sat down, staring at the void above without saying a word. Qing Han had been observing him. Seeing him like that, he wondered if he had gone too far. After all, what happened just now did happen. Miss Yui. Shi Sheng supported his knee with one hand and stared at him with a burning gaze. Yui? Qing Han frowned slightly. Are you from the Fox clan? Yes. Shi Sheng nodded. Can't you see it? This villain was too weak, wasn't she? She couldn't even distinguish between a demon and a human. Before Qing Han had time to look at her, he was pushed down by her. However, he couldn't use his spiritual power here. How could he see her? However, he didn't expect that she was from the Fox clan and the Yu clan. The Fox clan also had a clear hierarchy, and the clan was one of the standards for the hierarchy. The Yu clan had a very high status in the Fox clan, which was equivalent to the royal clan of the Fox clan. How do we get out? Shi Sheng changed the topic. Once they got out, she would be able to make this guy submit to her with her spiritual power. Qing Han looked in the darkness and said slowly, climb up. Shi Sheng. As villains, they actually had to climb up? What the hell? Where's your image as a big shot? When Qing Han said that she would climb up, she really prepared to do so. His body seemed to be a little unwell, and he tried his best to endure it as he walked. He walked in front of the mountain wall. There were many potholes on the mountain wall, but it didn't seem too difficult to climb up. He reached out to grab the protruding stones, and stepped on them to climb up. After a few steps, the pain in his back suddenly intensified. He lost his balance and slid down. After sliding a few steps, someone supported him from behind. Are you sure you can climb up? Shi Sheng wrapped his arms around his waist and popped his head out from the side. His tone was full of schadenfreude. This idiot. Qing Han's back was throbbing in pain. It had been a long time since he had felt this way. With the help of spiritual power, he hadn't been injured for many years. Qing Han supported himself against the mountain wall and moved to the side, just to keep a distance from Shi Sheng. I'm fine. You're fine? Qing Han nodded. Then show me how to crawl. Shisheng moved aside. She was smiling, but Qing Han didn't see a smile in her eyes. It was a kind of emotion that he couldn't understand. His heart beat a little faster. Every time he looked at her, he always felt that her eyes were very familiar. It was so familiar that it made his heart ache. Qing Han took a slight breath. Enduring the pain in his back, he grabbed the stones and climbed up. This time he climbed further than before. His hands were trembling, and he couldn't use his strength. Suddenly he slipped and fell from the sky again. Qing Han never thought that he would be carried by a girl one day. Shisheng reached his limit to catch Qing Han. She swayed and both of them fell to the ground. The sharp spurs on the ground stood up. Shisheng subconsciously protected Qing Han's head and pressed him to his chest. With the fragrance and softness of a woman, Qing Han froze. They fell to the ground in a strange posture. Qing Han's heart beat faster and faster. At last, it was like a storm hitting a drum. Shisheng stared at the empty space helplessly. She refused to have her luck reduced by 30%. It was so painful. Do you want to crush me to death? Shisheng couldn't help but say. Qing Han came to his senses. He climbed up with a stiff body. His hand accidentally pressed Shisheng's arm. Fuck. Shisheng shouted in pain. Even if you don't want to take responsibility, you don't have to kill me. I owe this baby's life. Why is it so bitter? I need to be comforted and kissed. It's so painful. Qing Han found that there was blood on his arm. The spurs next to him were stained with blood. Qing Han's heart seemed to be covered by someone. He was a little breathless and had a dull pain. It was a very strange feeling. He carefully helped Shisheng up. Shisheng pulled up his sleeve and looked at it. Why did he get hurt every time he met him? It was poisonous. The wound on his arm was pulled out. It was a very long wound. The blood couldn't stop flowing. Shisheng poked it with his hand. Don't move. Qing Han pushed away Shisheng's hand. He looked at Shisheng and said sorry. He carefully cleaned the cloth stuck to the wound. Then he pulled some cloth from his clothes and wrapped it around Shisheng's arm. Shisheng wanted to say that I had medicine. However, when she saw Qing Han's guilty eyes and serious expression as he helped her to bandage her wound, she silently swallowed her words back. Now I'm hurt because of you. Shouldn't you be responsible for me? Her hot breath blew on Qing Han's neck. His cheeks suddenly became hot and his ears turned red. Fortunately, he was backlit. Shisheng couldn't see the expression on his face. Qing Han quickly wrapped the last few rounds and said, Miss, I had no choice. Shisheng just wanted to tease him. He pursed his lips and didn't say anything. He looked at the wound on his arm. It was so ugly. His arm was almost mummified. Qing Han sat next to him with his head down. Occasionally, he would look up at Shisheng. She leaned against the stone with her eyes closed. He didn't know if she was asleep. Qing Han sat in silence for a while. Then he stood up and slowly approached Shisheng. He bent down and was about to look at her hand. The girl who closed her eyes suddenly opened them. Her eyes were cold and clear, without the slightest confusion of waking up. You scared me. Shisheng breathed a sigh of relief. He blinked and there was a layer of ripples in his cold eyes. Her tone was very soft, like a murmur. Qing Han opened his mouth and said, I want to see your wound. Shisheng stretched out his arm and shamelessly teased him. You can see anywhere you want. Qing Han was speechless. Chapter 528. Shisheng sat alone in the corner, and Qing Han leaned on the other side. His whole body was hidden in the darkness. Shisheng stared at his back for a moment, and then he got up and walked towards him. He stopped a few steps away from him and asked, Are you all right? I'm fine. Qing Han's voice was a little dry. Shisheng frowned, took down the night-luminescent pearl, and walked over to him. In Qing Han's surprised gaze, Shisheng directly threw him to the side and let him face his back. Qing Han struggled to turn around, but his body was a little weak, and his limbs were getting weaker. Shisheng pressed him down and took off his clothes. Miss, men and women should not touch each other. Don't worry, I won't act like a hooligan. I'll be responsible for you. Shisheng took off the last piece of clothing. The night-luminescent pearl shone on his back, and it was a shocking sight. There were a few small finger-sized stings in the middle of his back. It was beginning to turn black. Shisheng furrowed her brows. Did that thing hurt him? It's poisonous. Shisheng put the night luminescent pearl in his hand. Do you know what it is? How to detoxify it? She did not know that kind of gene mutation thing anyway. Qing Han shook his head slightly and said embarrassedly, it's incurable. It was recorded in ancient books that it belonged to the ancient creatures. Everyone thought it was extinct. He did not expect to meet it here. Shisheng took out a few porcelain bottles and put them into his mouth directly. Those elixirs melted in his mouth, and Qing Han did not even taste them. However, these elixirs seemed to be useless. The fact that the elixirs were useless proved that the poison was extremely strong. Qing Han's condition was getting worse and worse. His body was cold, and he gradually lost consciousness. His body was shaking, and he was going to fall down at any time. Shisheng spread a quilt on the ground and put him on it. Shisheng knelt beside him, took some elixirs, and stared at his back for a while. Then he took a deep breath and bent down. Shisheng's warm lips touched his back, and he was shocked. Miss, what are you doing? Shisheng pressed his shoulder to prevent him from turning around, and quickly sucked out the poisonous blood. The blood that was sucked out was all black. When he spat it out to the side, the smell was very unpleasant. His mouth was filled with the taste of blood. Shisheng spat out the blood as fast as he could, but his stomach was still churning. When the blood turned red, Shisheng supported himself with a rock next to him and retched. She didn't eat anything and only vomited some stomach acid. Fortunately, she didn't drink it. Shisheng's face was a little pale. She calmed down and got up to change Qing Han to a clean place. After doing all this, Shisheng sat down beside her. Qing Han listened to her slightly heavy breathing and felt very uncomfortable in his heart. He slowly turned his head, and his gaze landed on her hand. The wound on your arm has opened up. Shisheng touched his wound. It was a little moist. It was probably because he had used too much force when he was hugging him just now. Qing Han was still a little dizzy. He propped himself up and sat up. Shisheng put on the jacket for him. His movements were very natural, as if it was just a conditioned reflex. Qing Han was stunned. He pinched his lapel and after a while he began to help Shisheng remove the strip of cloth on his hand. Hiss! Shisheng gasped when he removed the strip of cloth that was stuck to the wound. Qing Han paused. It hurts a little. Bear with it. It hurts so much. I can't bear it. Shisheng's face was bitter. Kiss me. Qing Han was speechless. He silently stretched out his hand. Bite it. How can you remove it with one hand? Shisheng was unhappy. Anyway, I've already kissed you. It doesn't matter if I kiss you again. Qing Han withdrew his hand and suddenly tore off the strip of cloth. Ouch! Shisheng cried out in pain. He was furious. Is this how you treat me? I endured the danger of drinking blood to take the drug for him, but he didn't even give me a kiss. I'm so angry. Let's break up. Shisheng got up from the ground angrily. He walked to the side and sat down. He took out another night luminescent pearl and quickly applied the medicine on himself. Why was she tormenting herself for no reason? She was really crazy. Qing Han obviously didn't expect Shisheng's reaction to be so big. He froze there for a long time. They didn't communicate after that. Qing Han wanted to say something several times, but he didn't know what to say. Hiss, bang, hiss. There was a strange sound at the entrance of the cave. Shisheng held the night luminescent pearl and shone it in the direction of the cave. The mutated creature was hitting the entrance of the cave, and there were several creatures following behind it. It was like a group of demons were dancing wildly. Shisheng rushed over and stuck a few more talismans on the wound. F***CK. She rushed back to Qing Han and wrapped his clothes around him. Then she carried him in her arms. Qing Han was speechless. She was a girl. Why did she like to carry him and a princess carry so much? Shisheng strode to the place where they fell. Qing Han thought that he was going to climb up. Put me down. I can do it myself. Shisheng said sarcastically. What can you do by yourself? You don't even have the strength to stand up now. Qing Han saw that he took out a black rectangular thing. She stepped on it directly, and the thing began to rise. What kind of magic weapon was this? It could be used in a place where spiritual power couldn't be used? It didn't rise very fast. Not long after they left the ground, the talisman at the entrance of the cave burned spontaneously, and a group of insects rushed in from outside. The hissing sound filled the whole space, and it made people's scalp tingle. At this time, Shisheng had risen to a certain height. Just when she was relieved, the ground suddenly shook. She fell down weightlessly. F***ck. Shisheng took out a sword in a panic and inserted it into the mountain rock next to him. Probably because the sword was too sharp, it directly split the rock. Shisheng didn't have time to complain. He controlled his strength and inserted it again. The falling speed suddenly slowed down. She grabbed the sword and could only hold Qing Han with one hand. Their bodies swayed in the air. Shisheng looked hopeless. Where was I's sword? Let me go. You can go up by yourself. Although Qing Han couldn't see what was going on, he could feel that her arm was shaking. But she should be able to go up by herself. Although he didn't understand why he felt this way, Shisheng lifted him up a little. I can't do something like abandoning my man and running away. Who's your man? How could she be so shameless? You. I didn't look at other men's bodies. I have to take responsibility. I'm not like you, a hooligan. Who was a hooligan? She was the one who was a hooligan from the beginning. Otherwise, how could they fall into such a strange place? How could this woman be so unreasonable? Hold me. Qing Han didn't move. I'm a burden now. You go up by yourself. Shisheng interrupted him. I'll jump down. Qing Han. After a long time he raised his hand and hugged Shisheng's waist. Then he felt that his lips were covered by someone, and the tip of her wet tongue swept across his lips. I'll take you up. Chapter 529. Wu Chen didn't expect that the little fox demon would pounce on his master when she saw him. Even if she pounced on him, they were nowhere to be seen. Master, why did you choose to stand on the edge of the cliff? You would fall down if you pounced on me. Most importantly, he had searched for them at the bottom of the cliff for several days, but he didn't find anything. The two of them just disappeared into thin air. The jade pendant that he used to contact Qing Han didn't have any response at this time. Wu Chen scratched his head in annoyance. The ground was full of gravel that fell that day. How could they disappear? Master, where did you kidnap my little fox demon? Just when he didn't know what to do, the iron sword that had been following him suddenly vibrated. With a whoosh, it flew up from his side and set off a gust of evil wind. Wu Chen was stunned for a moment. He then summoned his sword and flew up. On the lush grass, the girl was lying on the ground silently, covered in blood. Little fox demon. Wu Chen rushed over. Qing Han was unconscious beside her. Her clothes were a little messy and her face was a little pale, but she didn't have any injuries. Shisheng opened his eyes slightly and said weakly, "Where's the water?" Water? Wu Chen thought that Shisheng wanted to drink water, so he turned around to look for water. Who knew that Shisheng didn't want to drink at all? She wanted to take a bath. Wu Chen's mood could only be described with one word. F***ck. You're covered in blood and you still want to take a bath. Although Shisheng's behavior was very strange, Wu Chen still took Shisheng to take a bath. As for his master, anyway, he didn't die. Shisheng didn't expect that space to be an independent space. In order to come out, the price she paid couldn't be described with words. Shisheng looked at his wrist. There was a deep wound on it. Flesh and blood were flying everywhere. It looked very hideous. Shisheng sighed. How could he act cool in the future? The spiritual power in her body was gone. In other words, she might not be able to use her spiritual power in the future. Her body was considered useless. System, can I apply to change my identity? Do you really think you're playing a game, and you can change your identity as you wish? Why not? Isn't this a game? Host, don't read my thoughts casually. It was afraid that the host could read its thoughts directly. Master, come back quickly. I can't handle this alone. Didn't you read my thoughts as well? You want me to read what you want me to know. Do you think I don't know? The system was enraged. Of course, it was impossible to tell whether it was angry or not from its cold electronic voice. Oh, that's awesome. Did your master tell you that? She felt like she was being despised. Speaking of which, how could your master create such a retarded system? Who is your master? My master. The system was silent. Why did it have to tell her? The system immediately shut down and went offline. Shisheng didn't mind that she didn't get any information out of her. She would eventually find out what she wanted to know. Shisheng took a shower, changed into clean clothes, and slowly walked back. Qing Han had already woken up. In just a few days, he felt as if he had experienced a lifetime. He looked at the girl in a light blue dress slowly walking over from afar, his face still a little pale. In his mind, he was replaying the scene in the dark space where she had drawn the array with her blood. It was a formation he had never seen before. It was complicated, huge, and shocking. Xiao Yi. Wu Chen walked over to Shisheng. Are you okay? Shisheng shook her head slightly. But why is your face so pale? Wu Chen was worried. She was covered in blood just now and it was scary to look at. I'm fine. She had lost too much blood and naturally looked like a ghost. I shouldn't have let you come. Wu Chen reached out to support Shisheng. Shisheng moved sideways to avoid him. Wu Chen's eyes flashed and he was a little disappointed. Xiao Yu. Shisheng smiled and her pale face suddenly became a little more colorful. I like your master. Wu Chen. What did she say? He didn't hear her clearly. The two talked for a long time. Qing Han felt uncomfortable and got up to leave. She said she would be responsible before, but she turned around and smiled happily at his disciple. Wu Chen caught up with him first. Master, Xiaoyi said she likes you? Qing Han frowned slightly and wanted to explain, but he didn't know how to explain. He had kissed her before, and she had even seen his body. Wu Chen, master. Wu Chen looked dignified. Although you are my master, we are rivals in love. Let's compete fairly. He also wanted such an interesting little fox demon. Qing Han. Humans and demons are different. Put it down and let master do it. Bah. What was he thinking? He didn't want such a shameless woman. After Wu Chen sent the challenge letter, he went back to accompany Shisheng. Probably because his body was too weak, Shisheng walked a little slowly. In the end, he simply sat on the iron sword and let the iron sword fly with him. Xiao Yi. How can my master be better than me? I'm so handsome. I can fight and I can make money. My master can't even find the way. Wu Chen circled around Shisheng, nagging and belittling his master. Your master's gone. Shisheng leisurely tossed out this sentence. Wu Chen looked ahead. The person who was walking in front of them was indeed gone. Wu Chen resigned to his fate and went to find his master who had no sense of direction. There was a fork just now and Qing Han went to the other side. When he wanted to go back, he found that there was another fork and he didn't know where to go. It was normal to get lost. Shisheng found Qing Han before Wu Chen. After all, she had a means of air transportation. He stood alone at the fork and looked very serious. He was probably choosing which path to take. Shisheng watched him choose for a long time. In the end, he still chose another path that led to an unknown destination. Shisheng. Where did he get the confidence to go out? Shisheng fell from the sky and blocked in front of Qing Han. The mottled sunlight jumped in from the top of the tree and fell on his white jade-like skin. There was a faint halo. His light pink thin lips were slightly pursed, and the light in his eyes was like the surrounding trees swaying in the breeze. It was so vague that one couldn't see clearly. His temperament was cold, and he was like a jade orchid standing in the clouds. This was probably the first time Shisheng saw his appearance so clearly. 1 word, handsome. 2 words, so handsome. 3 words, mine. I'll give him 101 points for his handsomeness. I'm not afraid of him being arrogant. My man should be so handsome. Asterisk, 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 little fairy. Daughter, is it okay for you to be so shameless? Shisheng. My face is so good-looking, why not? Little fairy. Maybe your real face is an ugly girl. Shisheng. Right if you have the ability. My sword is thirsty. Little fairy. Kiki, you're a piece of trash without your sword. Shisheng. Is that so? Taking out a small ball. Little fairy. Daughter, I was wrong. I just wanted to ask for a ticket. Feng Xiai. Can't you ask properly? You have to flirt with my wife. Little fairy. You're blaming me for my cheap mouth. Chapter 530. Shisheng jumped down from the iron sword. It was supposed to be a handsome pose. In the end, a rabbit suddenly jumped out from the side and ran past her feet. Shisheng turned her foot and stepped on something. Unfortunately, she rolled down the slope to the side. Shisheng, who was stuck between two trees, was speechless. What happened to saving the damsel in distress? Why did you stand there and watch me roll down the slope? Break up. System, get out of eye. We need to talk about that luck value. Damn it, even when I get down, there will be a scammer. No host, we won't date. Shisheng got up. Suddenly, it was dark in front of her. Then her body flew up. She looked up and saw Qing Han's slightly tense chin. Don't think that I won't break up with I just because you hug I. Shisheng hugged Qing Han's neck and rubbed her head against his neck. Her smooth skin touched his neck. Qing Han's body stiffened. A trace of shyness flashed across her face. However, from Shisheng's angle, he could see her slightly red ears. Shisheng snorted. She said no, but her body was honest. Qing Han didn't know what she was snorting about, but he didn't want to talk to her. So he pursed his lips and carried her up. Wu Chen probably saw the iron sword floating in the air and ran towards it. The three of them bumped into each other. There was a strange silence. In the end, Qing Han put her on the iron sword and explained to Wu Chen. She fell down. Where did she fall? Wu Chen asked anxiously. Little fox demon. How can you fall down when you walk? Shisheng was speechless. Don't talk about this sad question. I won't kill you. At night, the moon was bright in the sky. Shisheng looked at Wu Chen thoughtfully. Shisheng didn't even notice that Qing Han stole a few glances at her. Shisheng got down from the iron sword and walked to Wu Chen. I have something to tell you. Wu Chen blinked. Have you decided to choose me? Shisheng motioned for him to go over there. After leaving Qing Han's sight, Shisheng said directly, I don't care if you really like me or not. I only have one sentence to tell you. I don't like you. So no matter what you want from me, or how much you have to pay, you won't get anything from me. Shisheng spoke very fast. Wu Chen looked at her blankly. It took him a while to react. He muttered, Little fox demoness, are you rejecting me? Yes. Why? Shisheng looked in the direction they had come from. The corner of her lips lifted slightly. There's no why. How long have you known my master? Do you know what kind of person he is? Wu Chen frowned and asked. He had accompanied her for so long, but she didn't even look at him. She had only known his master for a few days. I've known him for a long time. Shisheng narrowed his eyes and said, I don't care who he is as long as he is the one I'm looking for. Qing Han stared at the fire in front of him that was blown askew by the wind. He kept looking into the distance. How long have they been in there? What did he say? Why haven't they come out yet? Qing Han was a little irritated. It was an inexplicable feeling. Humans and demons were different. It was impossible for them to be together. He kept repeating this sentence in his heart. But every time he repeated it, he became more irritated. Whenever he thought of how she was covered in blood, his heart would throb with pain. Just when Qing Han was feeling irritated, Shisheng and Wu Chen came out. Wu Chen lowered his head and looked a little listless. He sat back beside the bonfire without saying a word. Shisheng went to sit on the iron sword without looking at anyone. Besides the crackling of the fire, there was only the sound of insects in the forest. After a long time, Wu Chen suddenly stood up. He glanced at Shisheng and turned to Qing Han. Master, I have something to do. I'll leave first. Wu Chen. Qing Han looked at Wu Chen in confusion. Wu Chen stepped forward and bent down to whisper in Qing Han's ear. He took a step back. Master, contact me if you need anything. Little fox demon, I'm leaving. Shisheng waved his hand. Wu Chen smiled reluctantly. He turned around and walked into the dark quickly, disappearing into the night. After Wu Chen left, Shisheng jumped down from the iron sword and sat beside Qing Han. He said confidently, I'm cold. Qing Han moved to the side. Her eyes were cold and her voice was faint. You have spiritual power. How can you be cold? I don't. Shisheng stretched out his hand. You can touch it if you don't believe me. Qing Han was a little suspicious. He stared at her for a few seconds. Seeing her determined face, he tried to put his hand on her wrist. After a long while, he slowly let go of her. His throat was dry. He opened his mouth, but only one syllable came out. She didn't have any spiritual power in her body. I may not be able to maintain my human form in a few days. Do you have the heart to abandon me? Shisheng put on a pitiful expression. Although she didn't know why she could maintain her human form now, she estimated that she couldn't maintain it for long without the support of spiritual power. Is it because of that? That strange array. When he saw that she could walk, he thought that she was just a little weak. But he didn't expect that there was no spiritual power in her body at all. Probably. Shisheng paused. Even without you, I can only use that method to get out. Moreover, I got you in there. Naturally, I have the obligation to bring you out. So this matter has nothing to do with you. You don't have to feel burdened. But Shisheng leaned closer to Qing Han and smiled evilly. I still have to be responsible for you. Qing Han took off his coat and put it on Shisheng. Humans and demons have different paths. Miss you, we won't have a good ending if we stay together. Humans couldn't tolerate it. Demons couldn't tolerate it. Shisheng didn't care. The worst result is that we die together. What's there to be afraid of? Anyway, it's not like we haven't died together before. The most romantic thing in the world is to die together with you. Qing Han looked at Shisheng. Shisheng's eyebrows were slightly curved, and he reached out to him. Hug. There was a kind of pain that could spread from the heart to the bone marrow, and from the bone marrow to the soul. When he heard her say that they would die together, the blood in his body seemed to freeze. From the world of ice and snow, he fell into the red flame lava and finally returned to the warmth of spring. The girl in front of him looked unfamiliar, but he felt a sense of familiarity from his soul. He held her hand and slowly pulled her into his arms. Her body was very cold. It was so cold that he couldn't help but shiver. How did she survive? Why do you like me? They just met for the first time a few days ago, but she was so sure that she pounced on him. It was as if she had decided from the beginning. Because you're good looking. Because you're feng xi. Qing Han. So if he wasn't good looking, she wouldn't like him? Thinking of this, why did he suddenly feel unhappy? Chapter 531. The next day, when Shisheng woke up, he was dumbfounded. Why did Qing Han become so big? The surrounding scenery was receding quickly. She was held in Shisheng's arms and felt very warm. She didn't feel cold at all. Shisheng pulled Qing Han's hand with his claws. Qing Han subconsciously squeezed her claws. Then, he realized what was happening and looked down at her. When did I become like this? She didn't feel anything at all. She was scared. When it was almost dawn. Qing Han's voice was a little broken by the wind. I'll find a way to help you recover. Shisheng scratched his palm with his claws. His heart was breaking down. Sure enough, humans and demons couldn't love each other. This was retribution. Qing Han touched her back. Her hair was soft and smooth. He couldn't help but touch her back a few more times. Even if she was a demon, she still had the nature of a demon. Shisheng snorted comfortably. Touch me a few more times. Qing Han. He couldn't help but imagine her lying in his arms when she was in her human form and letting him touch her more. Qing Han only felt that his head was congested and the blood in his body was boiling. He quickly removed his hand, held her firmly and hurried forward. Shisheng wriggled in his arms. If he could roll, Shisheng would roll and beg to be touched. He felt uncomfortable all over. He wanted to touch her. In the end, Shisheng could only scratch herself with his claws. However, she couldn't scratch her back. Qing Han, help me scratch it. It's not comfortable. Shisheng poked Qing Han with his claws. Her claws were chubby. They were very soft on his hand. Qing Han sighed. Where is it? On my back. It's so itchy. It's so scary to be a beast. Qing Han gently scratched her back. Shisheng closed his eyes comfortably. It felt so good to have someone scratch his back. He finally understood why pets like to be hugged and rubbed. Bah! Why should he understand the feelings of pets? Where are we going? After feeling comfortable, Shisheng remembered that this guy was actually in a hurry. Did he know the way? Wanshin sect. Shisheng. Shisheng stretched out his head to take a look. This place was too unfamiliar, and the original owner had no memory of it. Therefore, Shisheng had no idea where the hell this place was. However, when he thought about how this person with no sense of direction could get lost in such an iconic place like Mist Mountain, he wondered how far away he was from the Wanshin sect. She didn't know where to go, so it was better not to say anything. At night, Qing Han found a place to rest. Shisheng jumped out of his arms and onto his shoulder. The soft fur kept brushing against Qing Han's neck, making her feel numb and itchy. Shisheng's tail wrapped around his neck. Qing Han felt a little breathless. He lifted her up and held her in his arms. Shisheng curled up into a ball and tried to snuggle into his arms. After finding a comfortable place, Shisheng finally fell asleep. The consequence of having no spiritual energy was that he needed a lot of time to rest. Qing Han covered her with his coat to block the wind outside. Qing Han's rationality told her that there would be no good ending between humans and demons. However, there was a kind of emotion called impulse, and he couldn't control himself. If he wasn't sure that there was nothing wrong with his body, he would suspect that he was poisoned by her. It was a month after Qing Han returned to the Wanshin sect. Shisheng started to show him the way in the places he knew, but as long as he wasn't careful, he would go astray. There was no one else who had such a poor sense of direction. During this month, Shisheng kept the appearance of a fox and couldn't return to his human form. When the Wanshin sect heard that Qing Han was back, they came out to welcome him together with the sect leader, Master Qing Han. A group of people bowed to greet him, and the scene was slightly shocking. Before Shisheng could show his head, he was pushed back by Qing Han. Qing Han nodded coldly and flew to a mountain. There was a special sign on the mountain where Qing Han lived, so he naturally recognized it. After Qing Han left, these people dared to discuss. What was Master holding just now? I didn't see it clearly. Qing Han covered it with his sleeve. He only saw a bulge, but didn't know what it was. Senior brother sect leader, Master Qing Han is back. About Wuchen should we? Wuhan said hesitantly. Wuchen was the only disciple of Master Qing Han. I'll report it. The sect leader waved his hand. Let's go. Qing Han was not in the Wanshin sect all year round, so no one cleaned the mountain. Fortunately, the mountain was high enough, so there was not much dust. He put Shisheng on the couch aside, and cleaned the whole room with a simple dust removal skill. You can live in this room. Shisheng shook his paws. I want to live with you. No, men and women are different. Qing Han refused immediately. Shisheng stood up and walked around on the couch with his tail up. But I'm a fox now. No. I'm afraid of the cold. Shisheng jumped from the bed to Qing Han. I want to live with you. Qing Han didn't pick him up, so Shisheng could only climb onto his shoulder. No. Qing Han still refused. I'll set up a formation for you. You won't be cold. Shisheng. That's enough. Shisheng stretched out his paws, and was about to scratch Qing Han. Master Qing Han, Wujing wants to see you. A voice suddenly sounded. It was the sect leader's voice. Shisheng remembered. Qing Han took Shisheng away. Stay here and don't come out. You don't want I to go out, so I won't go out? I won't. I won't. Shisheng jumped off the bed and followed Qing Han. Qing Han set up a restriction on the door when he went out. Shisheng bumped into the transparent barrier, and sat down on the cold ground. Qing Han stood outside the door and looked at him, then turned and left. Shisheng. That's awesome, my retard. Where's I's sword? The iron sword appeared out of thin air, but Shisheng found that he couldn't pick up the iron sword. So why did she have to be a beast? When could she regain her human form? Damn. Qing Han and the sect leader met. Qing Han listened coldly all the time. After the sect leader reported, he didn't know what Qing Han meant, so he couldn't help but feel a little nervous. His master was the most powerful in the Wanshin sect, and he was the treasure of the sect. But his disciple, she caused trouble all day long. She was simply the black sheep of the Wan Shen sect. This time he caused the trouble himself. The sect leader felt that he didn't do anything wrong. His master had always been reasonable, so he would definitely understand him. After comforting himself in his heart, the sect leader felt better. He was about to say a few more words, but suddenly there was a loud noise in his ears. Bang! The ground trembled. The sect leader and Qing Han looked at the place where the sound came from at the same time. The building that was still there just now was gone at this time. Qing Han's face changed slightly. She flashed and went straight there. The sect leader hurried to catch up with her. He was also nervous. Someone dared to be presumptuous in his master's place. Who was so bold? ****# today's pear-flavored vote ## monthly vote #. Chapter 532. Qing Han rushed to the site of the incident and saw a big pit. Lightning flashed in the pit. He quickly glanced around, but he didn't see the snow-white figure. Qing Han's heart skipped a beat. He walked towards the big pit, his movements a little stiff. He locked her in here just now. Shisheng shook his burnt fur and jumped out from the side, directly onto Qing Han. Qing Han stopped in his tracks. He slowly lowered his head and saw the fox with bumpy fur. Shisheng was very unhappy now. She blew up the house, but she blew herself up. It was all this idiot's fault. Shisheng stretched out his claws and scratched her twice. He was so angry. Qing Han reached out and touched her. He felt the warmth under his hand, and he heaved a sigh of relief. Master! The sect leader looked at Qing Han in a daze. He actually saw a trace of gentleness on his master's face just now. Was it an illusion? It must be an illusion. You go back first. Qing Han covered Shisheng and said coldly. Master, this. The sect leader looked at the big pit behind him. Qing Han glanced at him emotionlessly. The sect leader immediately lowered his head. Yes. Before the sect leader left, he looked at the big pit several times. He felt that this pit was a little familiar, but he couldn't remember it at the moment. Are you hurt? Qing Han exposed Shisheng and reached out to touch her. Shisheng shook his fur and a layer of black dust fell off. No. Qing Han's face was cold. What did you use to blow it up? There was no aura of outsiders here. The only possibility was that she blew it up herself. She dared to blow it up inside? What if she hurt herself? Did she have any sense of danger? Shisheng took out a small ball and pushed it to Qing Han's palm. This. The small ball was smooth, and there was purple gas lingering inside. Tiny lightning flashed faintly. He could feel a huge force moving around inside. Qing Han frowned. Why were there so many strange things on her? Don't use these. What if she got blown up by such a dangerous thing? Who told you to lock me up? Shisheng pulled the small ball back. Qing Han. He was doing it for her own good, yet she was blaming him? What kind of logic was this? Why was this woman so unreasonable? Now that the house is gone, can I stay with you? Qing Han. This is your ultimate goal of blowing up the house. How could this woman be so shameless? Shisheng moved into Qing Han's room as he wished. She even shamelessly climbed onto Qing Han's bed. Shisheng jumped and looked at Qing Han. Why is the spiritual energy here so dense? Qing Han replied softly. The bed is made of warm jade, and there is a spirit gathering array below. Spirit gathering array? This kind of array formation was very common. It was used to gather spiritual energy. Shisheng lay down in the middle of the room. Spiritual power slowly circulated around her body, alleviating the pain in her meridians. After hearing nothing for a while, Qing Han put down the book in her hand and walked to the bed. She curled up on the bed and fell asleep, her head buried in the soft fur. Although he had hugged her to sleep before, they had never slept on the same bed. So Qing Han sat in the room for the whole night. In the next few days, Shisheng had been lying on his bed. The spiritual energy here could enter her body, although it was very slow. Unfortunately, she still couldn't return to her human form. In the main hall of the Wan Shen sect, Wu Hen was surprised. Senior brother sect leader, are you sure you didn't make a mistake? The sect leader nodded solemnly. It should be right. It's the same as what they described. He had always felt that the pit was a little familiar. When he came back and thought about it, he really remembered it. Not long ago, someone told him about it. Master and the fox demon? When Master came back, he was holding something. Could it be the fox demon? She killed a lot of people. A group of people started a heated discussion. There was a fox demon in the Wanshan sect. And it was brought back by their master. Senior brother sect leader, we have no evidence. What do you think we should do? They couldn't rush up and question their master. They wouldn't dare to do that even if they were given 100 guts. When Master came back, we haven't arranged anyone to serve him. Why don't we let someone go up in the name of serving him? Someone suggested. The sect leader pondered for a moment. This is the only way. Okay, I'll arrange it. Senior brother sect leader, if Master Qing Han really brings the fox demon back, what should we do? As soon as this question was asked, the whole hall became quiet. No one knew how to answer this question. The disciple who served Qing Han was sent up the mountain the next day. Qing Han looked at the girl who was a little reserved. He pointed to the room where he lived. You are not allowed to enter this room without my permission. The girl kept her head down and replied in a low voice, yes. After Qing Han left, the girl breathed a sigh of relief. She was scared to death. This man's momentum was so strong. She didn't even have time to see what he looked like. The girl slowly raised her head. It was a very strange face, but the eyes were somewhat familiar. If Shisheng was here, she would definitely recognize her. This girl was the female lead, Yu Shaoqi. After Yu Shaoqi was caught by the masked man, she had been looking for a chance to escape. Later, she really ran away. Before running away, she stole a medicine from the masked man that could change her appearance and hide her demon aura. In order to avoid the masked man, Yu Shaoqi drank the medicine and hid in the team of the Wanshan sect. She didn't expect to enter the Wanshan sect by accident. Yu Shaoqi resigned to her fate and went to clean first. Before coming up, someone had told her some of the habits of her master. She remembered it firmly and didn't dare to act recklessly. Coming out of a room and turning a corner, Yu Shaoqi saw the big pit that was blown up by Shisheng before. She frowned strangely and took a few steps towards the big pit. What was this pit for? Yu Shaoqi stood on the edge of the big pit and looked into it. It was very deep, but there was nothing inside. It's really strange. Yu Shaoqi didn't care about the pit and continued to clean. When she finished, it was already dark. Only then did she remember that her master didn't arrange a place for her to live. Yu Shaoqi could only go to Qing Han. When she came to Qing Han's room, she saw the light inside. Yu Shaoqi approached carefully. Master, are you there? What's the matter? You didn't arrange a place for me to live. It was quiet inside for a while. The room next to the Moon Pavilion. Moon Pavilion? Yu Shaoqi thought for a while. She had been there when she was cleaning. The Moon Pavilion was full of books. She couldn't understand the words on them. The room was next to the Moon Pavilion, but it was a bit remote and far from here. Yu Shaoqi didn't dare to complain and obediently said, Disciple knows. Asterisk little fairy, please vote. Emotionless face cherub. If I vote for you, you will have nothing to live for? Little fairy, you are wrong smile. Chapter 533. In the room, Shisheng crawled on Qing Han's legs and pressed his abdomen with his claws. But his eyes were drifting. Obviously, he was not in the right state. At this moment, her mind was flooded with thoughts. Female lead Darren actually came here? Female lead Darren actually came here? Qing Han is an important person. What's wrong with the female lead coming here? The system looked down on Shisheng. Why did you give the script to I? 3,000 points in exchange. Why don't you rob me? 5,000. Go away. I don't want it. Host, do you really not want it? Go away. The host is so stingy. What's wrong? Qing Han looked at the little fox who suddenly bit his finger. He was a little confused. He didn't provoke her just now. Shisheng's tongue swirled around his finger. Then he turned his head to his abdomen and curled up to sleep. Qing Han. Why is she throwing a tantrum again? Shisheng was imagining the plot in her mind. But no matter how he thought about it, he felt that it was too melodramatic. Since the female lead came, Shisheng's range of activities was even smaller. But she was not willing to go out. Qing Han's bed was very useful for her. So in Qing Han's view, Shisheng was sleeping, and sleeping every day. After a day of practice, Shisheng jumped out of bed. It was dark, but he didn't see Qing Han. Shisheng walked around a few times with his tail up, but Qing Han still didn't come back. Could it be that he was lost? Thinking about it, it was highly possible. Shisheng jumped out of the window and went to several places that Qing Han frequented. But he didn't see him. Shisheng couldn't help but feel strange. Was he really lost? How could he get lost in his own house? This idiot. Shisheng searched for a long time and went up the mountain along a path. Shisheng found Qing Han in a cold pool. He was soaking in it naked. The cold air formed crystal clear frost in his hair, eyebrows, and eyelashes. Shisheng felt the cold air from a distance. She swayed her small body and slowly approached the cold pool. She carefully walked from the pool to the place closest to Qing Han. If she fell, she would turn into an ice cube. The person in the center of the pool opened his eyes when she approached. There was a hint of murderous intent in his cold eyes as he looked at Shisheng with a gaze that seemed to have materialized. When Shisheng stepped on it, it was still fine. However, when she stepped on it, the soil suddenly began to collapse. F***ck. Voila! The bone-chilling water surged towards the Shisheng from all directions, pushing her down desperately. Her 4 short legs were completely ineffective when she tried to move them. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. This was definitely the most depressing plane in Shisheng. A pair of warm hands held her waist from behind. With a little force, fresh air blew into her face. Phew, she hugged Qing Han's neck and wrapped her whole body around him. Humans, wait a minute. Shisheng raised his arm and looked at it. She had returned to her human form? Shisheng blinked. He looked at Qing Han, and then looked at the body that was not in the water. Well, naked. Just right. She slept with him. Qing Han. Shisheng turned around and leaned into his arms. The cold pool water could not stop her soft body. The hands on her waist could not help but tighten a little. The restlessness in his lower abdomen made his breathing disordered. Shisheng kissed his lips. The tip of her small tongue pried open his lips and teeth, inviting him to dance. She put her hands around his neck and wrapped her legs around his waist. Qing Han's reason collapsed at that moment. There was only the girl in front of him left in his eyes. The cold water in the pool was dense. The 2 figures were faintly discernible. The sound of the rising and falling water spread out. It turned out that it was not good to think too much. Qing Han just hugged and kissed her. He did not do anything else. The cold full moon hung high in the sky. Qing Han held Shisheng and floated back to the room. Are you still cold? Qing Han wrapped the quilt around her. The temperature of the pool water was not something she could bear. Cold. Shisheng covered the quilt. He tilted his head and suggested, "Shall we continue? You won't feel cold after some exercise." Qing Han's ears suddenly became hot. How could she say this kind of thing so confidently? Shisheng had already reached out and started to take off his clothes. Qing Han hurriedly covered his clothes. Your body can't bear it. Her body was very weak. It's just right. Shisheng tried to get his hands off, but Qing Han held them tightly. Shisheng stared at him. Let go. It's not like this. Who told her that it was like this? Shisheng knelt on the bed and looked at Qing Han. Are you going to let go? Qing Han tightened his grip. He told her with his actions that he would not let go. Have a rest first. This kind of thing can be done slowly. Your health is more important. Qing Han was very worried about her health. Where's Ice Sword? Shisheng pulled Qing Han. Qing Han lost his balance, and they fell directly on the bed. In the end, Shisheng was held by Qing Han. He restrained her body and did not allow her to move. What's our relationship now? Shisheng was a bit uncomfortable from being strangled. She struggled a bit before asking him in a soft voice. Qing Han was silent for a few seconds. We'll leave the Wanshen sect tomorrow. I'll marry you. In the Wanshen sect, those people would never agree to let him marry a demon. Actually, you can marry me. Qing Han said seriously. There's no such thing as a woman marrying a man. Why not? You'll have one if you marry me. Sleep. I can't sleep. We can really continue what we did just now. Qing Han was speechless. Shi Sheng was in a daze when he suddenly heard the noise outside. She sat up quickly. She had short legs and a big tail. Damn it, she became a beast again. Don't come out. Qing Han touched her head and whispered. Shi Sheng was confused. What's going on? Qing Han opened the door and went out. The noise outside suddenly stopped. Master Qing Han. The sect leader bowed respectfully. Qing Han glanced at them indifferently. Why are you so noisy? Master Qing Han, may I ask if you brought back a fox demon? The sect leader braced himself and asked. Qing Han looked at him with deep eyes. A disciple in the sect died because his heart was dug out. Wu Han added. Master, don't be deceived by the fox demon. Master, please hand it over to the fox demon. Master, please hand over the fox demon. The people who came with the sect leader all knelt on the ground. Their voices were orderly as if they had rehearsed. When did she die? Qing Han asked calmly without any panic. The sect leader looked serious. Last night. This has nothing to do with her. I can testify. He knew that these people would find out sooner or later, but he didn't expect it to be so fast. Master. The sect leader was surprised. He really protected the fox demon. Master, humans and demons are different. Don't do anything wrong. Master, please hand over the fox demon. Master, the fox demon killed countless people. Don't believe it. Master. Chapter 534. Yu Shaoqi hid in the corner and peeped out secretly. Yu Shaoqi trembled when she heard them talking about the heart gouging. It's him. The masked man came. Shaoqi. A slightly cold hand was placed on her shoulder. Yu Shaoqi's body suddenly stiffened. She was hugged from behind. Shaoqi, I said, no matter how far you run, I will find you. Yu Shaoqi's chest rose and fell quickly. Her body was cold and her mind was blank. You found her. Ah. Yu Shaoqi broke away from him and rushed forward. Her scream interrupted the crowd. Yu Shaoqi ran to the disciples of Wanshen sect as fast as she could. It's him, master. He is the heart-gouging fox demon. The masked man chased after Yu Shaoqi, so everyone naturally saw him. The masked man did not stop and went straight to Yu Shaoqi. No one could say for sure who made the first move. The scene was extremely chaotic. When Shi Sheng returned to the system space, he was confused. Why did she come back? She didn't go out when there was a fight outside. Shi Sheng rushed to the screen in a few steps. Host, calm down. The system hurriedly said. I'm very calm. Shi Sheng stood in front of the screen with a blank expression. Tell me what's going on. System failure. The system explained carefully. The system will retransmit. Host, please be prepared. Prepare my ass. Shi Sheng took out his iron sword and slashed at the screen. Your server is unstable. Do you know that people will die? The system did not dare to breathe. After Shi Sheng finished slashing, it directly started the transmission. Data reading. Transmission begins. Shi Sheng blacked out. When she opened her eyes again, she found herself in a vine-covered cave, and a strange middle-aged man was standing opposite her. The Fox King. 2 words suddenly popped up in Shi Sheng's mind. This was Yu Yi's father. The timeline changed? Damn it. Xiao Yi, you are lucky this time. Don't run outside in the future. The human world is not as good as you think. The Fox King said earnestly. Shi Sheng looked at him blankly. What time was it? Before or after that incident? Where was her Feng Xi? Think about it carefully. The Fox King dropped these words and left helplessly. It took the Shi Sheng several days to figure out what had happened. The entire Wanshen sect was annihilated. When she was found, she was already on the verge of death. It was the Fox King who used half of his cultivation to save her life. What kind of plot was this? Why was the Wanshen sect destroyed? Where's Qing Han? Shi Sheng had half of the Fox King's cultivation in his body, so he was no longer as weak as before. She left something for the Fox King and ran away that night. She wanted to take a look at the Wanshen sect. He kept feeling that something was wrong. It had been more than half a year since the Wanshin sect was destroyed. The once glorious Wanshin sect was now in ruins. The three words Wanshin sect were even more blurred. Shisheng went to the mountain where Qinghan used to live. Half of the mountain peak had been cut off, and not a single blade of grass grew on it. To her, it was just a blink of an eye. The mountain peak that was fine before had now become like this. The entire Wanshin sect was annihilated. Qinghan was one of them. However, she did not believe that the man's strength was not weak. It was impossible for him to die so easily. Xiao! A hesitant voice came from behind. Shisheng turned around abruptly. A cyan figure jumped out of the ruins. Great, you're still alive. Wuchen. A trace of disappointment flashed through Shisheng's eyes. Wuchen looked very excited. He rushed over in a few steps and reached out to hug Shisheng. Shisheng instinctively avoided him. Wuchen hugged nothing, but the excitement on his face did not lessen. Xiao Yi, where's my master? Is it because I'm with you? I know you'll be fine. Shisheng frowned. I don't know where he is. Wu Chen's expression froze on his face. After a while his eyelashes trembled. You are not with my master? Shisheng shook his head. She did not know what happened at that time. She just inexplicably returned to the space. It had been more than half a year since she was transmitted here. Wu Chen had also just arrived here. He was in a bad mood when he parted with them last time, so he found a place to cultivate in seclusion. As a result, he heard the news that the Wanshin sect had been destroyed. He hurried to the Wanshin sect and coincidentally met Shisheng. Wu Chen had no feelings for the Wanshin sect, but he cared about Qinghan very much. There were no clues about the Wanshin sect, so Shisheng turned around and went down the mountain. Xiao Yi, do you know who did it? Wu Chen caught up with Shisheng. Although this matter was being spread outside, no one was clear about who did it. I don't know. Shisheng walked at a leisurely pace, and his eyes were as calm as a pool of water. Wu Chen could not understand Shisheng's expression. She looked like she did not care at all. However, there was a faint murderous aura around her, like an ethereal fog that surrounded her. Wu Chen wanted to find Qinghan, but he had no clue at all. He did not know where to start, so he could only follow Shisheng. Shisheng walked aimlessly. He entered the city when he saw it, stayed for a few days, and then left. Wu Chen did not understand what he was doing at all. Even though half a year had passed, the rumors about the Wanshin sect's destruction still lingered on. Do you think the Wanshin sect offended the higher-ups? Otherwise, who could destroy the Wanshin sect? Not all of them. There must be disciples outside who did not go back. Who dares to go back? That's true. If the Wanshin sect was like this, what was the use of those disciples outside? Maybe it would only lead to another massacre. Shisheng walked past them expressionlessly and went straight out of the city gate. Wu Chen followed behind her and remained silent. When they reached a place where there was no one, Shisheng took out his iron sword and flew away. Willow Village. It was a small village, and most of the villagers were very kind. Miss, thank you so much for today. An old man was talking to Shisheng with a grateful face. Otherwise, I really don't know how to come back. Shisheng helped him to sit down and said indifferently, It's nothing. I don't have anything to entertain you at home. Let me have a rest. I'll make a bowl of noodles for you and this gentleman. The old man looked ashamed. This little girl saved his life, but he did not even have anything to entertain her. A smile finally appeared on Shisheng's face. No need, I still have to hurry on my way. It's dark. The old man was shocked. It's not safe in the wilderness. You'd better leave tomorrow. The old man refused to let Shisheng go. They were in a stalemate for a while. Wu Chen could not stand it anymore. This time, he came out to mediate and persuaded Shisheng to stay here for one night. However, Shisheng still did not agree and refused the old man. Asterisk, 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 please vote. Chapter 535. Coming out of the old man's house, Wu Chen was very puzzled. She had saved the old man's life, yet she rejected his kindness so mercilessly. He really didn't understand what was going on in the little fox demon's mind. The old man lived at the end of the village, so they had to pass through the whole village when they left. At this time it was getting late. Smoke rose from the kitchen chimneys, and people started to cook. The fragrance of the food floated in the village. The quarreling sound came from afar. The closer they were to the village entrance, the louder the quarreling sound. Xiaohu is still a child. He is not sensible. You are an adult. How can you argue with a child? Stop talking, Auntie Wang. Let your Xiaohu apologize. Why should Xiaohu apologize? A house at the entrance of the village was surrounded by many villagers. They were pointing at the house and the quarreling sound came from inside. Why? Do you want to hit someone? Come on, hit him. The crowd suddenly became restless. When they moved, the scene inside was revealed. Shisheng saw the people standing inside. A tall and handsome man was protecting a woman with a cold face. Even if he was wearing coarse clothes, it could not hide his noble temperament. Master! Wu Chen's eyes lit up and he flew directly over the crowd. In the crowd, Yu Shaoqi and Qing Han were surrounded by people. The one who quarreled the loudest just now was Aunt Wang. Wu Chen went straight to Qing Han. Master! Because someone suddenly appeared. The villagers stopped quarreling and looked at Wu Chen. Qing Han frowned slightly and was slightly puzzled. You are? Master. What happened to his master? Sorry, you got the wrong person. Qing Han lost his memory. What was more ridiculous was that he had an ambiguous relationship with Yu Shaoqi. Wu Chen was dumbfounded. What happened? Yu Shaoqi was shocked to see Wu Chen. She was even more shocked when she heard him call Qing Han master. Shisheng walked slowly into the crowd. Yu Shaoqi remembered what happened at the inn, so she was very afraid of Shisheng. Shisheng glanced at her and looked at Qing Han. Qing Han obviously lost his memory completely. He looked at them indifferently and firmly protected Yu Shaoqi in his arms. Wu Chen did not know what to do. His master had actually lost his memory. Shisheng met his gaze. She only saw a layer of coldness in his eyes. Shisheng suddenly reached out to pull Qing Han, but Qing Han dodged quickly. Shisheng drew out his iron sword and slashed at him. Xiao, what are you doing? Wu Chen shouted. The surrounding villagers were shocked by this sudden change and scattered in all directions. Soon, they were the only ones left. Qing Han's spiritual power seemed to be gone, and the Shisheng overturned her in 2 or 3 moves. Yu, what do you want to do? Yu Shaoqi rushed to Qing Han and blocked him with her body. Even if I have amnesia, you don't have to be so violent. It was just amnesia. She could still get her memories back. Shisheng pushed Yu Shaoqi aside and walked to Qing Han. He grabbed his wrist and injected his spiritual power into his body. It's not him. This person was the original Qing Han. Feng Xiai had disappeared. Shisheng was a little disgusted. The iron sword slowly moved to his neck. Qing Han still had a cold face without any extra expression. He looked at her coldly. However, just when she was about to do it, a trace of confusion suddenly flashed through Qing Han's eyes. Shisheng's heart skipped a beat. She injected her spiritual power into his body again. No. But just now, Shisheng tied Qing Han up under Yu Shaoqi's angry and Wu Chen's puzzled gaze. This man is weird. Host, you can't do the task like this. You lunatic, let go of me. Yu Shaoqi was also tied up and was shouting at this time. Qing Han was tied up on the other side. He was very quiet, but his eyes were looking at Shisheng unkindly. Unkindly? TSK, how dare you look at I like this? If I didn't feel that something was wrong just now, you would have sacrificed I's sword now. Shisheng pulled a piece of cloth next to him and directly covered Qing Han's head. When he thought that this body was not Feng Xi's, he felt disgusted when he saw this face. Wu Chen, have you considered my feelings when you treat my master like this? Shisheng knocked Yu Shaoqi, who was shouting, unconscious, and the world was finally quiet. System, come on, let's talk. I don't want to talk, play dead. Are you sure you don't want to talk? Continue to play dead. Very good. Let's talk when we go back. Master, do you really not remember me? Wu Chen squatted beside Qing Han. Do you still remember Wanshin sect? I don't know you. Qing Han only said this sentence. Shisheng stared at Qing Han, who was covered by the cloth, thoughtfully. It seemed that he had to ask the female lead. Therefore, the female lead who had just fainted was woken up by Shisheng again. Yu Shaoqi shook her dizzy head and asked angrily, Yu, what do you want to do? Tell me what happened in Wanshan sect. Weren't you there at that time? Why do you ask me? Yu Shaoqi gritted her teeth. Shisheng frowned. She didn't go out at that time and she didn't know what happened later. Do you know what happened in Wanshan sect? What happened to my master? Wu Chen turned around from Qing Han. Yu Shaoqi bit her lips. Ask her yourself. Why do you ask me? Wu Chen looked at Shisheng. Shisheng really didn't know what happened at that time. Shisheng put the iron sword on Yu Shaoqi's neck and said fiercely, Hurry up or I'll kill you. The coldness flowed into her body from her neck, and her limbs stiffened instantly. Yu Shaoqi couldn't help but shiver. She knew everything but still asked her to say it. Yu Shaoqi was full of humiliation. But due to Shisheng's violence, she dared not to have any opinions. I want to talk to you alone. Yu Shaoqi made a request. Shisheng smiled evilly. What chips do you think you have to negotiate with me? Yu Shaoqi almost couldn't breathe. Her face turned red and it took her a long time to talk. The masked man rushed out and fought with the people of Wanshan sect. The masked man's strength shocked everyone. He was able to handle so many people with ease. In the end, he suddenly rushed into the room where Shisheng was. Qing Han fought with the masked man at that time. However, Qing Han was not the opponent of the masked man. He wanted to kill Shisheng. In order to send Shisheng away, Qing Han forcibly used a forbidden technique. The masked man seemed to be stimulated and started to kill. Yu Shaoqi and Qing Han fell into a crack at the same time. When Qing Han woke up, he didn't remember anything and was seriously injured. She only knew that the masked man had killed all the people of Wanshan sect later. She took the seriously injured Qing Han out of the crack and found this village. She had been living in the village and let Qing Han recuperate. Shisheng was completely confused about what Yu Shaoqi said. She didn't remember these things. Did she also lose her memory? Asterisk, 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 what a big reversal. Chapter 536. Shisheng separated the two of them, and Wu Chen followed behind Shisheng with a disappointed look. Qing Han really didn't remember anything. He had no impression of what Yu Shaoqi said. Xiao-Yu. Wu Chen looked at Shisheng hesitantly. She looked as if she would really kill his master just now. What's wrong? Shisheng tilted her head slightly. The moonlight above her head fell from her shoulders and slanted into her pupils. The mottled light made her look gloomy for no reason. No. Wu Chen was speechless. Under her gaze, he could not say a word. It was very strange. Qing Han's memory loss and injury caused his spiritual power to be blocked. Although Yu Shaoqi had been nursing him, the conditions were limited. After such a long time, Qing Han did not get much better. Wu Chen felt a little uncomfortable. He stayed with Qing Han for several days, trying to make him remember. Everyone in the village knew that two aggressive guests came to the two young people's house half a year ago. Since the guests came, they had never seen the two young people again. However, they often saw the strange girl occasionally appearing in the yard. Some curious villagers inevitably went to inquire about it, but they found nothing. Yu, how long are you going to tie us up? Yu Shaoqi's face was pale, and she asked weakly. It's none of your business. Shisheng crossed her legs and occasionally glanced at Qing Han. Yu Shaoqi was trembling with anger. She was the one who was tied up. What was the meaning of her not doing anything but tying them up like this? Give me a definite answer if you want to kill me or torture me. Shisheng had been observing this man for the past few days, but she no longer felt the strange feeling from him. Qing Han looked at Shisheng with a very calm gaze. His temperament was different from when Feng Xi used his body. She could easily distinguish it. For so many days, Shisheng only heard him answering Wu Chen, and occasionally comforting Yu Shaoqi. Even if Wu Chen told him so much, he did not show any curiosity. It seemed that he was not interested in who he used to be. Shisheng blinked, suddenly got up and walked towards Yu Shaoqi. What are you going to do? Yu Xiaoqi's pale face was full of panic. Just when Shisheng was about to approach Yu Xiaoqi, Qing Han suddenly said, "What do you want?" Shisheng paused. What did she want? She didn't know what she was looking for. It was a very strange feeling. Shisheng thought for a while, and suddenly turned to leave the room. Yu Xiaoqi was frightened. She thought that she would kill her just now. How long are you going to keep them locked up? Wu Chen hurriedly asked when he saw Shisheng coming out. It had been so many days. Why did she keep them locked up like this? Even if Qing Han had lost her memory, she was still his master. Wait until I find the answer I want. Shisheng walked into the room next door without looking back. Wu Chen froze in place with a head full of confusion. What answer was she looking for? Nightfall. The village was very quiet, but the sudden fire caused the entire village to boil. Children's cries, adult shouts. The raging fire lit up half the sky. At this time, Shisheng and Yu Xiaoqi stood on each side of the fire. Each of them was holding one of Qing Han's arms. Yui, let go. Yu Xiaoqi gritted her teeth. The blazing flame was on her face, making her unable to open her eyes. Let's all die together. Shisheng shrugged indifferently. Yu Xiaoqi took a deep breath. Let master choose by himself. Whoever he chooses to go with, the other person will let go. Shisheng looked over the tall Qing Han. The smile at the corner of her mouth was still cold in the blazing flame. Her pupils were burning with raging fire, but it couldn't shake the calmness in her eyes. You can't even protect yourself, but you want to protect others? Who gave you the confidence? The iron sword suddenly appeared and stabbed towards Yu Xiaoqi. Qing Han reacted quickly. She moved sideways and stood in front of Yu Xiaoqi. Master! Yu Xiaoqi screamed in horror. Shisheng's sword stabbed into Qing Han's chest without any hesitation. Shisheng narrowed his eyes, withdrew the sword, and slowly stepped back. His tone was calm. Okay, I'll give it to you. This man was not Feng Xiai. But in the next second, the iron sword once again attacked them in a thunderous manner. In a split second, a powerful force suddenly erupted from Yu Xiaoqi's body, and the iron sword could not move forward. Yu Xiaoqi was obviously frightened by this change. Her face turned pale, and she was in great pain. The flames swallowed them from a distance. The whole world was covered by flames and swallowed their figures. Bang! The flames rose into the sky, and the sparks splashed down from the sky like meteors. The surrounding buildings were also affected. The surrounding villagers immediately screamed and scattered in all directions. Wu Chen ran from a distance, and was about to rush into the fire. At this moment, a figure with flames all over his body flew out from inside and smashed in front of him, splashing the dust on the ground. Yes, it was smashed. Xiaoyi. Wu Chen saw the person who smashed down. His pupils shrank and he stepped forward to help Shisheng up. Xiaoyi, how are you? Where's master? She was fine when he left. How did she become like this in a blink of an eye? Puff! Shisheng spat out a mouthful of blood. Damn it! I almost died in there. The female lead's golden finger was simply unbelievable. No, I was going to die now. Shisheng's hands trembled, and he shook out some bottles and jars from the space. Wu Chen handed those things to Shisheng. Which one? Shisheng's gaze fell on a red porcelain bottle. Wu Chen fed the elixir to Shisheng. Seeing that his complexion improved, he breathed a sigh of relief. At the same time, he looked at the house that was still burning with worry. Master had not come out yet. No. Wu Chen carried Shisheng to the side, and was about to rush in to have a look. His clothes were pulled, and he looked back. Shisheng tugged at his clothes and spoke weakly. He's not here anymore. Yu Xiaoqi's last burst of power not only bounced her away, but also teleported her and Qing Han away. I'm so angry. Her speed was fast enough, but the female lead still succeeded in evolving. It was simply unscientific. Most of the buildings in the village were burned down by the fire. Wu Chen did not dare to stay. He took Shisheng and left the village before those people could react. Shisheng was thinking about this plane the whole time. She underestimated the Battle Royale mode. The female lead's golden finger was outrageous, and she could even cause the previous server anomaly. Forget it, I'll just treat it as buying experience with my life. Anyway, I can load the file again. Damn it, I will take her surname if I don't kill her. Host, you have the same surname as her. You still dare to come out? Pretend I'm not online. Asterisk 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 hashtag today's chestnut flavored vote hashtag book review area winner. Obsessed with men this name. I give full marks. Chapter 537. Fox Clan. Shisheng had been back for almost 3 days. The Fox King had been lecturing her for half a day. Shisheng listened quietly the whole time. She only spoke after the Fox King finished lecturing her. Father, do you know where Xianfeng is? The Fox King frowned. How do you know Xianfeng? I have a grudge against him. The Fox King frowned even harder. After a while he became furious. You little bastard. I was wondering why Xianfeng suddenly targeted the Fox clan. It turns out that it was you who caused trouble outside. Shisheng. Shisheng was used to this level of roaring. Compared to when she just came back, he wanted to beat her with a stick. This was nothing. Calm down. After the Fox King vented his anger, he slammed the table. Tell me, how did you offend that devil? Just, how did she offend Xianfeng? The Fox King slammed the table. Just what? Why are you hesitating? Don't try to fool I just wanted to kill him. Silence. There was a deathly silence. After a while, the Fox King took out a rattan and whipped Shisheng. You little bastard, you can't kill him. How dare you go up there? Kill him if you have the ability. If you don't have the ability, why did you go up there? I was so angry that you dared to hide. F***ck. Father, it's not that I can't kill him. It's because he has the male lead halo, okay? In the original owner's memory, the Fox King was often angry. But it was probably the first time that he was so angry. When the Fox King finished venting, he threw away the rattan and sat down angrily. You little bastard, I'm so angry. Shisheng stood far away. Father, if I don't kill him, he will kill me. You can't just watch me die, right? How dare he? The Fox King was furious and slammed the table again. He only had one daughter. How could he let a demon bully her? So father, we have to take the initiative and kill him first. Shisheng began to instigate the Fox King. The Fox King grabbed the teacup on the table and threw it at Shisheng. Do you think he's a goblin that you can kill whenever you want? What kind of demon was Xianfeng? Before this little brat was born, Xianfeng was already in the limelight for many years. Back then, if he hadn't suddenly started killing innocent people and was sealed by human cultivators, he would have already unified the demon realm. Shisheng avoided the hidden weapon teacup. Didn't you just say that he started to target the Fox clan? Do you want to see the Fox clan go extinct? Little brat, you're talking nonsense. Are you looking for a beating? The Fox King was exasperated. Shisheng, shut up. The anger on Fox King's face slowly faded, and his eyes darkened. Xianfeng has seen the light of day again, and Wanshin's sect has been destroyed. Too many things have happened recently. Fox King paused. Xianfeng has already returned to the demon realm. I heard that he has been recruiting recently. I'm afraid the demon realm will soon be in turmoil. I want you to stay in the Fox clan. If you dare to run out again, I will break your legs. The Fox King raised his voice as he spoke. Shisheng glanced at his legs. Forget it. Respect the old and love the young. Just let him be. Father, I want to ask you something. Shisheng smiled and poured a cup of tea for the Fox King. The Fox King glared at him. Go ahead. Do you know Yu Shaoqi? Yu Shaoqi. The Fox King's eyebrows could pinch a fly to death. He thought for a moment. You mean Yu Shaoqi of Yu Hui's family? Shisheng searched the memory of the original owner and nodded slightly. Why do you ask her? The Fox King's eyes flashed with a trace of displeasure, and he said stiffly, that little fox is not from our clan. Shisheng. The female protagonist was not from the Yu clan. The Fox King didn't want to say more, but finally, he was pestered by Shisheng and had no choice but to tell him about Yu Shaoqi's identity. Yu Shaoqi's mother was a human, and her father was from the Hu clan, the second largest family in the Fox clan. It was unacceptable for humans and demons to fall in love, especially for half-demons. Neither humans nor demons would admit her identity. It was a tragedy for a human and a demon to give birth to a child together. More half-demons would walk on the extreme path and bring disaster to the two races. This made the humans and monsters hate half-demons even more and resist the union of humans and monsters. Yu Shaoqi's mother was executed by her clan after giving birth to Yu Shaoqi, and Yu Shaoqi's father fled with her. Finally, he asked his friend Yu Hui for help. There were many half-demons in the Fox clan, so the Fox King naturally had to ask about it. Yu Hui had contributed a lot to the Fox clan, so the Fox King couldn't refuse, so he could only agree to let Yu Shaoqi stay. But Yu Shaoqi was a half-demon, and her blood was impure. She couldn't transform for a long time, and was bullied by the Fox clan. When Yu Shaoqi's origin came out, Shisheng imagined the general plot. Of course, what he thought must be a routine plot. If the author didn't follow the routine, then his guess would be in vain. The female protagonist turned out to be a half-demon. But this kind of setting was normal. If she was really a purebred demon, it wouldn't be in line with the setting of a normal person. He should kill the male protagonist first, and then the female protagonist. It was a good idea to dismantle the couple. Why is the host becoming more and more a scumbag? Host. Don't be like this. Your character value is gone. My host always wants to scumbag the protagonist. In the Snake Clan of the Demon Realm, Xianfeng sat on the throne of the Snake King, and two people stood below. A man and a woman. The man was weak like a scholar, and his presence was very low. The woman was charming and enchanting, with deep cleavage, a thin waist and long legs. The enchanting woman spoke first. King, I heard that the little fox named Yu Yi has returned to the Fox clan. Do you want me to catch her? The Fox King treasures this daughter very much. Do you want to catch her? The scholar's tone was disdainful. Obviously, he didn't get along with the enchanting woman. The enchanting woman glared at him. Why do you boost others' morale and destroy your own? I'm telling the truth. The scholar glanced at the enchanting woman and said sarcastically, she is a woman. Do you want to deal with her the same way you deal with men? The enchanting woman's eyes were full of anger. Seeing that the two were about to quarrel, the surrounding temperature suddenly dropped. The enchanting woman and the scholar shuddered at the same time. They lowered their heads and dared not to be presumptuous anymore. Xianfeng's cold voice fell in their ears. Now what you have to do is to recover the demon realm as soon as possible. Their hearts skipped a beat. Yes, King. It was easier said than done to recover the demon realm. There had been no demon king in the demon realm for a long time. No one wanted to be controlled by other clans. Great. Then everyone should stop being the demon king and take care of themselves. So now all the clans were unwilling to admit the existence of the demon king. Xianfeng wanted to be the king, but he was busy. The scholar and the enchanting woman looked at each other, and then looked away in disgust. They bowed and were ready to leave. Have you found the person I asked you to find? The two were silent at the same time. After a long time, the scholar answered hesitantly. King, we don't have many people, so they hadn't found her yet. Xianfeng's face was expressionless. He waved his hand and let them leave. This plane is a place to accumulate experience. Key points. After all, this mode had just been opened. Chapter 538. The Fox Clan's night was very quiet. Not a single sound could be heard, not even the sound of insects. Shisheng was lying alone on the crown of the biggest tree in the Fox Clan. Above her head, the sky was full of stars. Her eyes were open, and the whole sky was reflected in her eyes. The bright starlight could not leave layers of afterimages in her eyes, nor could it cause any ripples. She was like a delicate doll without a soul. After a long time, she closed her eyes. When she opened them again, the stars in her eyes had disappeared, leaving only a dark void. She slowly took out an object that looked like a tablet. There were letters and numbers dancing on it. It was so fast that the naked eye could not see it clearly. There was a progress bar at the bottom. 78%. It was too slow. Shisheng fiddled with it for a while and took it back. Xiaoyi, are you up there? Wu Chen's voice suddenly came from below. Shisheng pulled the branches next to him. The leaves rubbed against each other and made a rustling sound. Wu Chen flew up from below and landed beside Shisheng. Xiaoyi. Wu Chen looked at her with a complicated gaze. I'm going to find my master, you. Goodbye. Shisheng waved his hand indifferently. Wu Chen smiled bitterly. When he came, he had already expected this result. She had always been so heartless. No one could expect to receive different treatment from her. However, she was just like this. He liked her. Wu Chen suppressed the emotions in his heart and asked tentatively, You and my master? What's going on? She had said it so confidently before. It seemed that she could not live without his master. But now, she had no reaction at all, and even wanted to kill his master. Shisheng turned his face to block Wu Chen's probing sight. His voice was indifferent. He's not the person I'm looking for. She was unfamiliar with the current Qing Han. Endless unfamiliarity. Just like the people in this world. She was so unfamiliar that she could not remember them. Wu Chen had never understood her. At this moment, he was even more confused. He opened his mouth but did not ask. Even if he asked, she would not answer. Even if she answered, he might not necessarily understand. When Dustless left the Fox clan, the first to be happy was the Fox King. If Wu Chen hadn't brought Shisheng back, the Fox King would have kicked him out long ago. He was afraid that his daughter would fall in love with humans. Then the Fox King began to arrange blind dates for Shisheng. Starting with the Fox clan, as long as they were of the right age and not too ugly, the Fox King would consider them. The daily life of Shisheng blind dates. Blind dates. Blind dates. However, Shisheng directly used violence. If he wanted to marry Ai, he would have to defeat Ai first. Many of her blind dates came happily, but left with bruises all over their faces. The Fox King was so angry that he stomped his feet. He shouldn't have given that brat half his cultivation base back then. The Fox King's wish to marry Shisheng off was aborted. The Fox King was very tired. Seeing that a war was about to break out in the demon realm, he couldn't even find a person to protect his daughter. However, the Fox King didn't have the time to be entangled. Xianfeng's actions were getting bigger and bigger. He had already subdued a few big clans. The actions against the Fox clan had also become more frequent. When the Fox King and Xianfeng met, it was naturally Xianfeng, the male lead, who had the upper hand. The entire Fox clan began to become restless. Some persuaded the Fox King to submit to Xianfeng, while some insisted on not submitting and fought with Xianfeng to the end. The Fox King was certainly unwilling to submit. Xianfeng had attacked his daughter, so he would never submit. Speaking of which, it seemed that he still didn't know what kind of grudges and hatred Xianfeng had with his daughter. The Fox King felt that something was wrong. He was actually fooled by that brat. The Fox King angrily went to find Shisheng to settle the score. How dare he fool him? That brat was tired of living. Where is your miss? The fox demon who was guarding outside was so scared that her legs went soft. Miss is sleeping. Sleep, sleep, sleep. You only know how to sleep. Wake her up. Yes. The fox demon hurried inside, her heart full of doubts. Miss hadn't gone out recently. How did she make the Fox King so angry? Shisheng was woken up and moved to the door reluctantly. Looking at the Fox King's furious face, he was also confused. I've been behaving like a virtuous lady lately. How did I make the Fox King angry again? The Fox King waved his hand to let the others leave. Brat, what's going on between you and Xianfeng? Shisheng. Why did he come back to this? Father, don't lie to me. You know the situation now. Xianfeng wants to unify the demon realm. Our Fox clan can't stay out of it. Ha! What did this have to do with her grudges with Xianfeng? Fox King, you have a strange way of thinking. I just don't like him. Shisheng shrugged. The Fox King glared at him. What was the reason for not liking him? He might as well make it up. Father, do you want to unify the demon realm? Shisheng suddenly moved closer. The demon realm has always been without a master. Everyone is king and mind their own business. The Fox King paused. But if you don't want to be the demon king, you are not a good demon. Oh, that was a good ambition. Father, with Xianfeng's current development, he is very likely to unify the demon realm. We can't just sit and wait. The Fox King's face darkened. Of course I understand this, but we are weak now. Xianfeng had conquered several big clans in a short period of time. Now he was the most powerful party in the demon realm. Don't worry, I have a way. Shisheng patted his chest and promised. The Fox King looked at him suspiciously. What way do you have? This isn't a joke. You'd better stay in the clan obediently. Shisheng curled his lips and didn't say anything. The Fox King began to get angry again, educating Shisheng for a while. After that, the Fox King completely forgot what he was here for. Shisheng wanted to kill Xianfeng. Naturally, he couldn't watch Xianfeng unify the demon realm. Shisheng sneaked out of the Fox clan and found the clans that Xianfeng hadn't conquered in time. He gave them a cordial and friendly visit. So the next day, the Fox King was asked to form an alliance. People came to him for a few days. The Fox King was so busy that he was dizzy. When he remembered Shisheng, it was already half a month later. However, his daughter was nowhere to be seen in the Fox clan. The little fox demon who served Shisheng was locked in the room for half a month. She was only released when the Fox King went to find her. She cried and complained to the Fox King about Shisheng's atrocities. The Fox King couldn't punish her even if he wanted to. His daughter was powerful. How could he blame others for being too weak? Fox King. Why is my daughter so disobedient? Little fairy, it's normal to be disobedient. I'm already very calm. You should be calm. Fox King. Calm my ass. Other people's daughters are sweet little cotton-padded jackets. That little bastard is like a debt collector. Did I owe her in my previous life? Little fairy, you don't say. Maybe I owed her in my previous life. Fox King. Excuses, they are all excuses. Chapter 539. The two teams drew apart, and the official match took place on a dark and windy night. The cause was a little strange. It was a couple from both camps who had a dispute over their positions. Things like demons were born ferocious. Just a word of disagreement, and the two of them would start fighting. As a result, the female monster killed the male monster. Finally, it developed into a war between the two sides. Therefore, it was very likely that the cause of a great war that would go down in history was because of a very small matter. Shisheng mingled with a group of little monsters. I saw Snake King just now. He looks really handsome. A monster next to him corrected. Handsome is used to describe people. We are monsters. How should we describe him? This question stumped the demon. After a long while he squeezed out a word. A demon with a striking appearance. Puff. Shisheng couldn't help laughing. Why are these little monsters so cute? He looked like a demon. What are you laughing at? Do you know how to describe him? The little monster who said handsome was not convinced. Shisheng restrained his expression. You can say he looks like a dog. He doesn't look like a dog. Wasn't Snake King a snake? I'm praising him. Shisheng said with a straight face. Really? Yes. A group of little monsters was skeptical, but they believed it in the end. They called him a man and a dog. Shisheng couldn't help laughing. It was cute to be uncultured. He didn't know what Xianfeng's expression would be when he heard it. It must be very interesting. Do you still want to fight today? The little monsters changed the topic again. I don't know. Let's wait. I haven't fought like this for a long time. I really want to fight. The monsters next to them echoed. Shisheng sat next to them and listened to their bragging. He really felt it was very interesting. Many of these little monsters had never been out of the monster realm. Their ideas were very different. Listening to them occasionally opened the door to a new world. They waited until midnight. The scene that had been quiet suddenly became turbulent. What happened? The little monsters tiptoed and looked forward. But there were too many monsters in front of them. And at this time, the ups and downs were very big. They didn't know what happened at all. Run! Run! Shouts came from the front, each louder than the last. The demons at the back did not care about what was happening in front of them, and began to retreat. The Shisheng went against the flow of the river, and the screams of terror in front of him never stopped. In the darkness of the night, it was enough to make one's scalp tingle. In the center of the battlefield, a huge demon was tearing apart a small sprite that was scurrying around. Shang had no hope for the monsters in this world. What the F***ck was this? Had their genes mutated to the Pacific Ocean? It had 4 legs and 2 heads. It looked like a dragon with horns on its head. Its body was covered with scales and wings on its back. Holy **T. The door to the new world was slowly opening. Run! The little fairy clearly did not have any ability to resist this mutated monster. Only the Fox King and a few demons were fighting with the big demons blocking their way. Xianfeng stood on top of the valley with his men. It was too far away, so Shang could not see his expression clearly. My king! The scream drew back Shang's attention, and he looked in the direction of the big demon. The Fox King was bitten by one of the big demon's heads. The other demons wanted to save the Fox King, but the big demon was so tall that he could easily turn around and avoid those demons. Shang sighed, pulled out the iron sword, moved his wrist, and floated out like a ghost. He suddenly appeared in front of the Fox King. The Fox King was stunned for a second and then roared, "Little bastard, what are you doing here? Get out!" Shang rolled his eyes, and the iron sword directly chopped at him. The Fox King. This little bastard actually wanted to kill his father. Puff! The warm blood splashed on the Fox King's face, and his vision was full of blood. He suddenly lost his balance and fell to the ground. Roar! Losing one head, the big demon seemed to be very angry. Its body turned around, and the little fairies around were unlucky, and they all fell down in groups. Shang turned over and jumped on the back of the big demon, and ran along its back in the direction of its head. The big demon wanted to shake off Shang, and its body kept shaking. However, Shang ran over as if she was running on flat ground. She steadily stopped on the big demon's head. She raised her hand, and the sword fell. The cold light swept around and gathered in the big demon's eyes. The big demon's body froze in place, and a moment later, it collapsed and hit the ground. The earth shook and the mountains collapsed. The Fox King was smashed with mud, and his head was full of blood and mud. He could not open his eyes at all. Did his daughter kill it? This was a ferocious beast. The scales on its body were so hard that they could not hurt it at all. So many of them joined hands, but they could not hurt it at all. The Fox King's heart was in a mess, as if he was on a roller coaster, until Shang stood in front of him. He could only see her blurry figure in his blurred vision. It was not until then that his heart calmed down. Regardless of his embarrassment, the Fox King wiped the filth on his face and jumped up from the ground. Little bastard, do you want to turn the sky upside down? He scolded and suddenly hugged Shang into his arms. Just now his heart stopped beating for a moment. He was afraid that in the blink of an eye, his daughter would not even have a corpse left. Shang patted his back and said leisurely, "Father, you stink." The Fox King's sentimental feelings were smacked away by these words. He pressed down on Shang's head. "Little bastard. How dare you dislike your father? King Mississippi King." The other demons gathered around one after another. The Fox King did not want to teach Shang a lesson, so he let her go. However, these demons were all looking at Shang with admiration in their eyes. "Miss, you are so powerful. Miss, where did you get that sword? What's its name? It's so powerful." Shang shook the sword in her hand, and thought for a moment. "Demon-slaying sword. The iron sword." "No, my name is not demon-slaying sword." The demons all took a step back. They were also demons. Some demons stood close just now and saw it with their own eyes. This sword cut the ferocious beast that they could not even scratch. It was like cutting a carrot. If it cut them, they would be cut into pieces in a minute. Where did Miss get such a terrible sword? "Go and call those idiots back," the Fox King ordered in a deep voice. Although he gave the order, they all ran away. He was still very unhappy. "Hey!" Several demons rushed out at the same time. They did not want to face the demon-slaying sword. They were afraid. Those who ran slowly were forced to stop and watch the demon-slaying sword. The Fox King glanced at Shang's iron sword and scolded in a low voice, "Little bastard." Shang. Why was he scolding her again? The demons were soon called back. chattering like a vegetable market. Asterisk little fairy. Blue thin mushroom. Shisheng. You are a demon again. Little fairy. I am so blue and thin. Shisheng. It is very difficult to be thin. Little fairy. Angry enough, I am not fat. Shisheng. Innocent. I didn't say you were fat. Little fairy. I just want to ask for a ticket. Chapter 540. Xianfeng was probably scared out of his wits and did not react for a long time. The ferocious beast was gone just like that? It was so easy, like cutting a carrot. It was gone. The monsters could not believe it. However, when they expressed their disbelief, the monsters over there had already rushed over. Shisheng thought of a very classic word. A group of monsters dancing wildly. Shisheng was not in a good mood. Now that he had the chance to kill, he would seize the opportunity. When Shisheng was not fighting against the male and female protagonists, he would basically kill them in seconds. Xianfeng probably saw that the situation was not right and ordered his people to retreat. Go and stop that little bastard. Seeing that Shisheng still wanted to rush forward, Fox King immediately ordered the monsters beside him to stop Shisheng. Behind them was Xianfeng's territory. It was not wise for them to chase after them. Shisheng was forced to stop. His face was full of pity. He ran away quickly. After that, there were several conflicts between the two sides. However, with Shisheng, the monster-killing weapon, Xianfeng basically did not gain any advantages. King that Yue. The scholar did not know how to describe it. As long as she targeted, it was absolutely a dead end. Especially the sword in her hand. It was said that it was called the demon-slaying sword. She was a monster herself, but she used a sword called the demon-slaying sword. King, the sword in her hand? The enchanting woman's eyes were full of greed. That sword was a good one. After observing for so many days, she found that the woman was so powerful only because of the sword. When she did not use the sword, her combat power was obviously reduced. Have you heard of the demon-slaying sword? Xianfeng's voice was slightly deep. Both of them shook their heads. They had never heard of the demon-slaying sword. King, someone outside wants to see you. A small monster hurriedly ran in from outside. Someone. Why would someone want to see me at this time? Before Xianfeng said anything, a figure slowly appeared at the entrance of the hall. Xianfeng and Fox King were fighting fiercely. Shisheng occasionally went up to kill the monsters. More often, he commanded a group of monsters to sweep the battlefield. The opponent arranged tactics, but she rushed in alone. She either directly attacked or threw small balls. Tactics were useless. Fox King was very anxious. What strange people did she meet outside? Why did she become so violent? How could she get married? Your Majesty, bad news. Indeed, it wasn't good. The little brat couldn't get married, so how could it be good? My king. The Fox King came back to his senses and looked at the anxious little demon. What's wrong? A strange sword appeared on the Snake King's side. We can't defeat it. A strange sword? Could it be as strange as his daughter's sword? Very powerful. The little demon nodded seriously. There was a trace of fear in his eyes. The Fox King followed the little demon down to the battlefield. Not far ahead, Xianfeng carried a sword that glowed with red light. The light and shadow dragged a long tail in the air. Even from afar he could feel the power of the sword. Those lesser demons had no power to fight back in front of him. Wang. Mrs. Sword was strange enough, and now Xianfeng also had one. Was this kind of awesome yet nameless divine artifact so worthless that it could be seen everywhere? Where's that little brat? The Fox King looked around with a grave expression. The surrounding demons also looked around. Finally, a demon pointed at the battlefield. Miss is over there. The Fox King looked over, and almost couldn't catch his breath. Shisheng rushed to Xianfeng like a flash of lightning. When he looked over, they happened to meet. He was afraid that she would rush over, but she still rushed over. What are you doing? Go and help. The Fox King was angry and yelled at the demons beside him. Shisheng was very curious about the sword in Xianfeng's hand. The iron sword slashed wildly at the sword. It turned out that the sword was not fake. Shisheng slashed it so many times, but there was no sign of it being broken. The two swords clashed and created a burst of sparks. The two figures were close to each other. Yui, you're very interesting. The moment the two figures separated, Xianfeng suddenly spoke. Interesting your ass. Shisheng turned around and slashed again. His action was simple and rough. Xianfeng raised the sword above his head and blocked the iron sword. Shisheng's expression was gloomy. So you like me? Xianfeng's eyes were cold. You're only qualified to fight with me. Shisheng. Mr. Male Lead. You'll be beaten by I if you continue to be so pretentious. Shisheng unloaded the power. The iron sword bypassed the sword at a tricky angle and stabbed Xianfeng from below. Xianfeng's tiptoes touched the ground, and his body slid backward. However, he didn't expect that the iron sword would suddenly emit a sword aura. Xianfeng didn't dodge in time. A tuft of hair was cut off by the sword aura, and his face was bruised. Being able to exchange blows with you is a blessing you've accumulated over several lifetimes. The girl's expression was confident, and her tone was arrogant. He just wanted to beat her. Xianfeng raised his hand and wiped the blood on his face. The bloodthirsty factor in his body was stimulated. He stared at Shisheng with his gloomy eyes, like a bird of prey that had been dormant for many years, and was about to wake up. The two swords clashed. The sky suddenly changed color. The wind and clouds surged. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. The iron sword could cause the sky and earth to change. She had known this for a long time. But Xianfeng's sword could do the same. Interesting. Between the lightning and thunder, the two figures shuttled back and forth in the lightning. They were so fast that only their shadows could be seen. The scene was shocking. All the demons stopped and looked at the two. Who will win? Needless to say, it must be our Mississippi. Yes, it must be our Miss. The demons of the Fox tribe worshipped her. They firmly believed that their Miss would win. The Fox King stared at the sky with a gloomy face. Lightning flashed through his pupils, reflecting the worry in his eyes. Clang. Someone fell from the sky. They couldn't see who it was because the distance was too far. Everyone stretched their necks to look over there. After a while, the dark clouds in the sky dispersed, revealing the figure that was covered. The Fox tribe immediately cheered. It's our Miss. Our Miss won. Shisheng fell from the sky and walked toward Xianfeng, who stood up shakily from the ground. Her black hair intertwined in the air. Her black skirt swayed. The pattern on the skirt was looming, like a red lotus blooming in the abyss. Darkness and blood intertwined. Shisheng stopped 1 meter away from him. Her calm gaze fell on the sword stuck in the ground. She smiled. This sword is really powerful. Unfortunately, you can't use its strength. Xianfeng covered his chest. His whole body was surrounded by a low pressure. His eyes were dark. He actually lost to a woman. And it was twice. He lost to the same woman. Shisheng. Expressionless. Why didn't you let me show off recently? Why did you make such a damn place for me? Where's my Feng Xi? Little fairy. You'll be struck by lightning if you show off every day. Didn't you see that just now? You don't love Feng Xi. What does it have to do with you where he is? Shisheng. Draws sword, little fairy. Pretending to be calm. Don't think that I'm afraid of you because you have a sword. I'm telling you, I'm not afraid. Shisheng. Honeyed smile. I think you don't want the votes anymore. Little fairy. Flopping down on her knees, Guru, I was wrong. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.